as foreigners make you a minority. Another election, another bust. Go vote for that liar, it's a must. We were given the greatest gift of all, decided to give it up and watch the fall. Yeah, it's just a clown world. We're living in a clown world. Join us in the clown world. It's easy to see that the joke's on you and the joke's on me.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is Thursday, July 16th, 2026. Welcome to your home for political play-by-play, the Owen Report. A fun day today. A fun day today indeed. Had some interesting developments last night. And, of course, today you get the big hype for Trump's speech, the primetime speech tonight. He'll be addressing election integrity. We're going to look at that. I'm not really sure what to anticipate. We've seen hyped up speeches like this before, and then Trump gets out there and it's kind of a nothing burger. So I don't know if I really anticipate too much. I think there's going to be a political angle to it in an effort to get the SAVE Act passed through the NDAA, which, of course, they really want to include the merging of our military with Israel. And I think this whole thing is just a smoke screen for that. We'll see what happens. There's other news going on as far as the White House is concerned. Now, we had it first. Yeah, this was one we had first.
And that's another home run from the great Babe Ruth.
What are you seeing last night and today? You're seeing Democrats and Republicans, but really more specifically, the new Trump coalition and Democrats fighting over data centers. Did I tell you this was going to be the big draw for the midterms? And did I tell you the Democrats were going to go with the anti-data center side because they saw it was popular? I'm not telling you that the Democrats are going to follow through on stopping the data centers. I don't believe they will. They'll fold. But they're going to campaign against the data centers, and people are going to vote for them because they don't like data centers. And the Republicans are on the losing side of the issue again. And nobody can make a clear, distinct case about why we need data centers. And so the perception is this is to build the AI surveillance state, which I think is true. So we're going to cover that, but it's not just that you're watching this happen. The right-wing media, it's so different now. Fox News is essentially just pure right-wing slop and White House propaganda. I mean, when they're using their entire nighttime team of news anchors to push data centers, it's like so over-the-top obvious. We always expect that with the war. We always expect the right-wing establishment media, they're always going to push war. They're always going to push for intervention in the Middle East. They're always going to tell you how Muslims are your enemy. It's like, okay, that's kind of the anticipated approach on foreign policy. All last night shoving data centers down your throats. And you can tell that Trump and I guess maybe Fox News, because there's obviously cooperation happening here. I think we can all pretty much assess the cooperation happening between the administration and the right-wing media. So they must know that Trump's approval rating is way down, because now they're going back and they're running these puff pieces about how, Trump in the 80s and Trump in the 90s. It's like, remember, Trump's cool. Trump's popular. Oh, yeah. Hey, that's funny. None of you guys were doing that in 2016. You were doing the opposite. But all right. All right. So we're going to take a look at that. It's just crazy to see. But now it's like, okay, the battle lines have been drawn. There's still a little wavy on the Israel front. We've got a little bit of that today. There's still a little wavy on the Israel front. We kind of see where they're going. But the battle lines for the midterms, they haven't really been distinctly drawn out. On data centers and AI, they've been drawn out now. And if you want to get the Republican money, if you want to get the Trump endorsement, if you want to get the Fox News interview, you better push data centers. And on the Democrat side, looks like they're lining up against them. Looks like they're comfortable right now, even with legislation, lining up against data centers. Now, what's happening? This is the Alex Brusiewicz saga has been very captivating for me. And we have a new chapter of it. He's now directly opposed with Randy Fine over passage of legislation in Congress. And Fine is now holding hostage Congress, or holding Congress hostage, unless Trump will get rid of Alex Brusiewicz. Now, let's see what happens. You have to understand what's happening today. And I actually had a phone call before the show, and I'm going to have Ivan Raiklin on sometime in the first hour, probably later in the first hour. He's doing some other interviews. But we were talking about this earlier today, and we were both on the same wavelength. But it's obvious what Trump is doing. He's been doing this for a month. If you remember last month, I said, look at how Trump is putting J.D. Vance on the lead of this communication strategy with foreign policy now. So Trump knows it's not popular, so he sends J.D. Vance out there to try to keep the narrative relative and, keep younger generation right-wingers and Trump voters in some belief that it's just not totally owned by the Israeli lobby. So that's kind of been Vance's role. I don't know if that's as much Brusiewicz. I don't know if that's a directional thing that Trump is saying, hey, Alex, you go out and do this. But the result is still the same. Brusiewicz has now fully exposed the foreign loyalists in the Republican Party, as if there was any doubt. I mean, it's all over the place now. But now you see it. Now you get to see Randy Fine and his acolytes in the media. They are holding Congress hostage for foreign interests. That's what they're doing. And so Fine is going to sit here and tell the Republican Party, he's going to tell Trump, I'm not voting for any of your bills until you get Brusiewicz out of your inner circle. Why? Because Brusiewicz isn't owned by the foreign lobby. Or maybe more importantly, Brusiewicz is putting a spotlight on the foreign lobby, which is the most unpopular thing in American politics today. So we're going to look at that saga. I keep seeing this again. You guys have been kind of hearing this on the show lately. I keep seeing right-wingers complaining about stuff, and it's happening again. And I'm just saying, why are you guys complaining? It's like, Trump, you got right-wingers will complain about stuff that's happening, but then they'll never look at the right wing when it's in power. It's one of the craziest things. It's really an amazing psychology to witness. And it shows how their brain has been broken into this left-right paradigm, like it's a team sport. And so, if Republicans are in power, nothing bad is happening. But if Democrats are in power, the whole country is corrupt. So it's a strange thing. We got some economic news. We do have some other geopolitical news, some other random headlines. And then just some randomness, really. We kind of got some randomness happening towards the end of the show. Some slop. Yeah. But there's a reason for the slop, actually. There's a reason for the slop. And we're going to even give you some reason. We're going to support the slop today. We're not going to support the data centers, so I'm not going to be cool with Republicans right now. But we are going to support the slop. And there's a reason for it. So the reason for the data centers is to create the AI surveillance state. We don't like that. There's a reason to support the slop, though, and we do like it. So it's okay. So we'll have a little bit of slop. Not much. It's all right. So all of that and more coming up on today's Owen Report. Brought to you by our friends, the official water filter of the Owen Report, Cove Pure Water Filtration Systems. Folks, this is the water filter that I use. This is the water filter I'll use forever. I think this machine could probably last forever, too. It looks like it's come from the future. But let's get down to it. Actually, some of you that follow me on X, you may have seen this. There was a journalist that was reporting something about fluoride. And I was at the dentist earlier this week. And, they always sometimes there's a new hygienist that doesn't know me. Like the dentist knows how I feel about fluoride, but sometimes the hygienist doesn't. And she'll say, oh, do you want the fluoride treatment? I'm like, oh, no, I don't take that fluoride. I don't want any fluoride. And she could tell there was a visceral response. She was like, oh. She was like, why? It's like, oh, I haven't ingested fluoride in forever. She's like, you don't use fluoride toothpaste? I'm like, no, it's been decades. She was stunned. So I was like, yeah, fluoride is a neurotoxin. They put it in the water. She was stunned. She couldn't believe it. She looked it up. It was all true. Well, they put it in the water. I don't want to drink it, so I have a water filter. It's really that simple. I have a water filter, so I don't have to drink fluoride. But fluoride isn't the only thing they put in the water. There's all kinds of other stuff in there. Forever chemicals, now microplastics. This chemical runoff from agriculture, pharmaceutical plants, all this stuff ends up in the water. You don't want to consume it. Get a Cove Pure water filtration system. Reverse osmosis filtration technology, and it realkalizes the water before you drink it. It doesn't get any better than that. It has a self-filling pitcher. You remove the pitcher, you pour a couple glasses of water, you put it back, it fills itself back up. That is the Cove Pure water filtration system. And for America's birthday, for 250 years, $250 off right now at covepure.com/Owen. You heard that right. $250 off for America's 250th birthday at covepure.com/Owen.
On the cutting edge of news and analysis, the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
How's everybody doing today? Feeling good. We've had a full recovery, I'd say. For those of you that might be concerned about me being under the weather yesterday. Hope you're feeling good. Unfortunately, we're dealing with it again, guys. No sun in Austin. It's raining again. But at about 8 o'clock last night, there was a moment. After 3 straight days since Sunday afternoon in Austin, Texas, nothing but clouds. Not just clouds, folks. I mean, clouds so thick there was no hint of the sun. You wouldn't even know it existed. And I think that's why I was sick. I think that's why we were all a little sick. And then at 8 o'clock last night, there was a glimmer. There was a ray shining through, and there was the sun. And I thought to myself, none of this would be possible if it wasn't for daylight savings time. Daylight savings time wins again. Don't take our summer sun, damn it. I would rather you change the clocks twice a year than take our summer sun. And it's gone again today. Very tragic. Very tragic. You know what? I've been kind of starting the shows off with a little comic relief lately. I got one for you here. This story is going crazy. I couldn't even believe it. You know, I've been kind of back and forth with the Odyssey situation, the movie that's coming out. I've been kind of excited about it, and then I've been like, oh no, it's cooked. It's like, oh wait, we're back. No, we're done. We're cooked. So I've kind of been back and forth. It's totally cooked with me now. I'm back on it's totally cooked again. I'm curious. I mean, I'm gonna see it. But the memes with Elliot Page, the memes with Elliot Page playing Achilles, guys. These are just too good not to at least share this one. So we start off today with a good laugh. Here's a Dr. Clown PhD rendition of Elliot Page as Achilles.
What is that? Who's that tiny female?
I'm coming for you!
You know, I thought there was no way. I thought there was no way they would tank this movie. And you know, I've been talking about it. We like talking about movies here on the show. I thought there was no way they would tank this film. I'm thinking way too big of a budget. I'm thinking, I mean, guys, the lengths that they went to shoot this film, it's no joke. It's no joke. It'll probably win awards just for what they did on set. So I'm thinking there's just no way they wouldn't tank this. This is like, you know, this is a legacy film. This is a film that can become canon of your lore. And if you've seen the clips, if you've seen the promos, oh my goodness, it looks like they tanked it. I can't believe it. I can't believe they would do it. Now, we're going to come back to this later in the show. We're going to get to the serious news now. We will come back to this later in the show because there's theories. There's theories of why why they're doing this. Because you got to ask, right? I mean, can you imagine filming this? You're sitting there, like everybody has to be in on the joke, right? You're filming this, and here's this 5'2" woman that chopped her breasts off, and I don't know what's going on down south. But it's like everybody knows it's a joke. It's like everybody's watching this knows how awkward it is, right? Obviously, everybody can see that on set and be like, this is ridiculous. And they did it. They actually, those bastards, a son of a bitch, they actually did it. So we'll get back to that. We'll get into the real news now. All right, we'll get serious. Rand Paul, disobedience is the true foundation of liberty. The obedient must be slaves. He's actually quoting Thoreau. You know, I agree with that. That's why we wear the disobey shirt today. Exclusively at owenschroyer.store. Some weird messaging, though, coming out of the White House. Very opposed to my ideology here. Weird messaging. What's new? If it's not Q, it's this weird Messiah complex promotion of Trump from the White House this morning. He is him. I wonder who's making these decisions. I wonder who's posting this garbage. Now, we know of that one blonde tart that Trump likes to have around. No, not Loomer. This one it would actually make sense if you catch my drift. This one makes sense. You know, you might want to have her around. She seems sweet and cute and cuddly. Not like Loomer. So I don't know if it's her making these decisions. I don't know who's making these decisions. I don't know if this is Trump. You can tell that there's some, it's like they're trying to tap into modern vernacular with this he is him. It's like that's this weird thing the young kids are doing. So it's like, is this a young kid running this account that's just speaking in the language of the youth that most people don't understand? Is this like some older person running this account that is trying to speak like the youth because they think it's cool and hip on social media? The response has not been good, by the way. Who's making these decisions? Just weird messaging. Now, the other messaging, which is the main thing today. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's do this. I'm going to get Ivan Raiklin on right now. He's in front of the White House. And I was just waiting for him to get there to join the show. So we didn't really have a hard set time. So let me get back to the messaging on the data centers. When I come back, I'm going to bring Ivan on right now. And I'm going to get to the data centers and the messaging on the data centers. And just, you know, everybody knows how we operate here. I'm always going to counter propaganda. I don't care left, right, where it's coming from. Always going to counter propaganda. And I'm telling you, I'm monitoring the mainstream news last night. And it's like every once in a while, All right, guys, I think we're back. No conspiracy. Let me get these burning lights down. No conspiracy here, guys. We got bad storms. We just got bad storms in Texas. So we had a power outage. The backup system kicks on just fine, but you lose it for 1 second, you lose it. So we got back on as fast as we could. No garage door malfunctions, anything like that. So apologize for the disruption. We got everything back up and running just fine. Bad storms in Texas. In fact, they're so bad. You've got some really bad flooding out here too. Okay. I was trying to get the guest lined up anyway. Before our disruption, waiting to be joined by Ivan Raikland. What I was saying before we were disrupted, man, that thing really came fast. It is roaring out there. Before we were rudely interrupted here, it's just so easy to spot propaganda. It's like when you've seen it once and you've studied it, especially from a media perspective, a mainstream media perspective, it's so easy to spot. And that's why, quite frankly, when it comes to the Tyler Robinson situation, so many people see the same patterns and types of behavior behind pushing that narrative that they saw from other propaganda operations. So they just assume, okay, that's what this is. That's the identifiable traits. Now, I'm not telling you what to think about that. I'm just telling you that's the interpretation. That's why it's kind of flopping and flailing so badly right now. But that's what I saw all last night, watching the Trump administration and then Fox News and all the people that they have in their digital influence sphere pushing for data centers. It's not popular, guys. It's not popular. And you're not going to convince people that they need it. I think the one issue that they still have in DC with propaganda media is that it's easier for even with the takeover of social media, it's still easier for people to find out information and the truth than it's ever been before. So when they try to make these claims like we need the data centers for this reason, that reason, or the other one, people can go look and see. We already have 10 times the data centers as China, or all this other stuff that they're claiming it's the big issue. It's not. Our internet runs just fine. Everything's doing just fine. We don't need all these data centers, but we see the flock cameras, we see the security state, we see all of it adding up, and we've reached the conclusion, we don't like this. We don't like this. You're not going to convince us that we like this and it's good for us. And that's what they're trying to do. It's so fucking pathetic. I'm sorry. It's so pathetic watching these sellouts in the media. It's so pathetic. And yet they're everywhere. They're everywhere. All right, I'm going to figure out if Ivan can't figure this out quickly, we're just going to move on. Can you guys hear that storm happening right now, by the way? I guess this is similar to the storm that happened with Camp Mystic, where everybody had to endure the flooding of that camp. You probably heard about that one. Very similar storm happening right now. Pretty crazy out there. All right. Well, I can't wait for Ivan anymore. So we're just going to move on with the news. All right. So this is right from President Trump. He posts this to Truth Social. One of the biggest driving forces in the future for jobs are data centers. Now, the lie cooked into this is that, they'll create some jobs building these data centers. They'll create some jobs, but those jobs are very short-lived. They're not long-term jobs. They're not careers. And eventually, those data centers will be hosting the AI that will take all the jobs. And so it goes on. Oh, they are big, strong, bold, and money machines for the state in which they are built. Money machines, guys. I mean, this is communist propaganda. It's free money, guys. I mean, who falls for this crap? They're money machines. That's how Trump is selling the data centers that you don't like to you. That's how Trump is selling the AI surveillance state to you. They're money machines. It's free money, guys. Now, this is all in response to the big Kathy Hochul news, where she has stopped the building of data centers. Goes on and on here. Liquid gold. Guys, data centers are liquid gold. Cash cows, record-setting jobs, lower taxes. This is the most heavily propaganda-laden post I've ever seen from Trump. And that's saying a lot. So whatever it is they're doing with these data centers, guys, whatever the deal with these data centers, you know, we can pontificate and we can make our own assumptions or conclusions here. The effort to propagandize the American people from the president, from the media, to accept these data centers is, I mean, folks, this is safe and effective. This is safe and effective. This is unbelievable. Free money, cash cow, liquid gold, cut taxes, record-setting jobs. Like, Trump is just putting all the buzzwords into this. That's all this is. It's packaging a turd. That's not even good. A turd would be better than this. It's packaging like a rabid honey badger. It's like packaging a wild chihuahua, a rabid chihuahua, and then it's on the package, it says low taxes, cute, cuddly, free money. It's like, ooh. And then you open it and it's a rabid animal. So this is such overwhelming propaganda. I can only assume it's corruption behind it. This is such ridiculous levels of propaganda. I can only assume whatever it is you're trying to sell me is bad for me. Safe and effective. 2 weeks to slow the spread. So what is the deal? What is the deal, guys? Well, isn't it obvious? Isn't it obvious by now what the deal is, guys? They're building an AI surveillance state. That's the deal. And I don't believe the Democrats are going to do anything to stop it, but they'll pretend to win an election. New York becomes the first U.S. state to impose AI data center ban. Now, this is going to be interesting. Clearly, the party line, the Democrats are going to be against data centers. They're going to campaign against data centers. And they're going to use this in the midterms, and I believe it will be a success story for them. It's going to be a little more interesting on the Republican side. Now, I imagine the pressure is already coming down, especially after what we saw last night. I know it's pretty obvious that there is coordination between the White House and, let's just say, Fox News. But whatever the umbrella of influence that the Trump administration has over the media, Fox News, certain aspects of everything Paramount owns now, the digital influence sphere on social media, they've all gotten the message to sell these data centers. They've all gotten the message to be positive on data centers. But there's going to be Republican races where candidates are not going to want to support data centers. And they know in local politics, data centers are not popular and they're not a winning issue. But the pressure is going to come down, and the Trump administration, the Republican Party, and all of its different leverages, and they're going to say, you need to come out in support of data centers for the midterms. And if you do, you will get access to the Republican Party treasure chest. Maybe you get an endorsement from Trump. We'll give you whatever Fox News access you want, and any other ways we can help you, but you got to support the data centers. Now, if you're a Republican and you're running in the midterms and you don't support data centers, they will do everything to crush you. Now, I would use James Fishback as an example here, But that's not a good example. They're going after James for different reasons. They've already targeted James for other reasons. So that's not really a good example. He's kind of already, he's got his own anti-establishment bent. The data centers doesn't really change that. There's going to be, normal Republicans, not even anti-establishment type Republicans, that just know, hey, this isn't popular here. I don't want to do it. And then seeing how they get treated in September and October, that's when you'll get an idea of just how much pressure is going to come down from the Trump administration to support these data centers. So New York, so the Democrats are campaigning. They're now writing legislation. They're banning them. They're saying we're not going to do the data centers. Now, I would not count on the Democrats to follow through. I would bet you that after the Democrats win elections on this issue, they will bring the data centers. I don't think Democrats are stopping data centers for 1 second, but they will campaign on stopping data centers. And it's going to become a major point of contention. Just get ready. And hey, you know what? People are going to claim they like them. People are going to try to tell you they like them. And that's fine. Oh, thank you. But you know that the propaganda is going to be coming down hard, guys. You know that the propaganda is going to be coming down hard. So I would make up your mind on this issue as soon as possible, because the overwhelming amount of propaganda that's about to come your way is going to be so obscene and so in your face. Just make up your minds now. If you haven't yet, maybe you're not sure, data centers, good or bad. I don't know. I want the full story. I'd try to make up your mind as soon as possible, because the amount of propaganda that you're about to see on this issue is going to be outrageous. And it just started last night. That was my key, man. When I saw that full force last night, it's like, this is it. And, look who else is on message. This is Ben Shapiro. The anti-AI movement is a foreign influence operation. In 24 hours, he gets 20,000 views with his 7 million subscribers on YouTube. And the comments are not very friendly. The anti-AI movement is a foreign influence operation. The irony of Ben Shapiro saying that is so rich and so ridiculous, I don't even need to explain it to you. I mean, come on. Ben Shapiro is a foreign influence operation. This is, honestly, guys, you know what's so crazy witnessing this right now? We're all witnessing it. We know what this is. This is going to be a trend on today's show. It is a lot. And of course it is. When we have foreign influence and foreign propaganda manipulating our country, deceiving our countrymen, it's a big story. It's going to be a big story here. And nobody's going to be able to pay me to stop talking about it. So here's, even Ben Shapiro is pushing the data centers. Even Ben Shapiro is pushing the AI propaganda. Shapiro is on message with the Trump administration. The same Shapiro that was a never Trumper. The same Shapiro that never wanted even to have Trump in office. So you can't help but connect these things. You can't help but connect the other developments that are happening in the administration with foreign policy and say, okay, these things are clearly connected. So then, are the interests the same? Now, how would that make any sense? Well, there's clearly an interest to spy on the American people 24/7. There's clearly an interest to have a digital permanent record on every American citizen. And the fact that the Israel lobby is pushing this harder than anybody tells me that they're associated with it and that they have a reason for it. And I guess we'd all have to say the reasonable conclusion is they want to monitor things 24/7 to censor and punish speech. To censor and punish speech. And they can even get a new angle if you can merge the Israeli military with the United States military or merge Israel into our military, now they have the excuse. Oh, you're speaking out against Israel? You're speaking out against the IDF? You're speaking out against America. That could be terrorism. Oh, that's a reason to spy on you. You could be affiliated with terror networks. So we're going to have to spy on you. And it's not just about social media activity. It's not just about something you might say on TV. No, it's spying on you 24/7 in your personal life, in your journal, anything, everything. They're watching because we can't have a single anti-Semite. There can't be one. And so we're going to build the greatest surveillance state the world has ever seen to make sure that not a single anti-Semite can exist. Or am I leaping to conclusions? When I see the same elements and the same purveyors of propaganda that are pushing our country into another war in the Middle East, and I see those same individuals and those same networks pushing our country into an AI surveillance state, how can I not assume they're connected? How can I not assume that they have shared interest? And if you want to know why people are so upset about this, and I'm putting that lightly, is because what we are being sold with this deal, what we're being sold, and this is the entirety of the Trump administration, by the way, all you're going to get is a war in the Middle East and an AI surveillance state. And when we see the foreign lobby and the propagandists telling us, you need to sacrifice your country for the good of a foreign country, you need to sacrifice your interest for the interest of a foreign country, that pisses Americans off. It pisses them off on the left. It pisses them off on the right. And as far as this propaganda working on the generations older than Gen X, really, it's like anybody Gen X and younger, it just doesn't work. Anybody Gen X and younger, we're not buying this. We see right through it. We're not having it. And so the timetable has moved forward. The timetable has moved forward. And when you see people like Randy Fine trying to hold Congress hostage for foreign interest, when you see people like Ben Shapiro trying to sell AI data centers to his conservative audience, you know it's not in the interest of America. But now they're forced to sell this to you. And Trump is now in on it. So I saw that. The other propaganda that I saw is, and this is their digital influence teams, and it was Fox News last night. They're taking old tapes of Trump, you know, talking foreign policy, whatever. And they're like, oh, look at Trump. He was always cool. He was always involved in foreign policy. Trump always knew about Iran. It's so that's them trying to stop this Trump approval rating tank that's happening right now. Like, no, remember, Trump's cool. No, he's been consistent on this. Forget about the campaign promises. So I kind of saw those two tag team operations happening last night. And it just tells me there's total panic behind the scenes, guys. There's total panic behind the scenes. Now, you do have to wonder what the panic is about. You know, these people are fully in control. So what is the panic really about? Are they scared of the Democrats if they get in power? Are they scared of we the people? Are they scared of the donors and the lobbyists? What is with this desperate attempt to convince you that you need an AI surveillance state? What is this desperate attempt to convince you that you need another war in the Middle East? But hey, guys, Ben Shapiro, the foreign intelligence operation, tells you that anti-AI data centers is a foreign intelligence operation. All right, before we finish the hour, we've got Ivan Raiklan. I think he's ready to go. He's shifting right now. He's moving around. If he hears me, maybe he'll be ready to go. Ivan, can you hear me right now? I don't want to put you on if you're not ready. Is he talk? What is going on? Hey, are you ready to go, Ivan? I'm not going to put you on here unless you're ready. Give me a thumbs up if you're ready. All right.
We have to stay out here though.
Yes.
Because
All right,
they-
Ivan, I've got you. I've got you live, Ivan. Ivan, what
Yep.
are we expecting tonight from Trump's
Go down there.
primetime speech?
Go down.
Primetime speech.
Do it.
I got
I
you.
expect
Are they
two
pushing you
things
around?
from
Are you hold on? Are you getting
President
pushed
Trump.
around right now?
Let me say hi. Let me say
I
hi.
am by Kara Castronova of Glendale TV.
Oh, it's
Yes.
friendlies.
And then
I thought maybe there were some swamp monsters bullying you,
No,
Ivan.
no.
no, it's Tristan Tate, I guess, is here. Just bumped
Who
into
you
him.
got? There's a party going on? We got a bad connection here.
Just Andrew, we're going to interview Tristan Tate shortly. Who said
Are
he
you
loves
going
you, by
on-
the way.
Are you going on the yacht?
No, we're not going on the yacht. I'm at the White House back tonight because of this big speech. What do you think's going to happen?
Kara, Kara, you can't talk to me. What are you doing? You're not allowed to talk to me.
Who said?
I'm surprised you're even on camera with Mr. Clean here.
Who said I can't talk to you? I can talk to whoever I
You're the
want.
best. You're the best. You're the best. Hey, you guys know you better start. Kara, are you going to start asking some tough questions about these data centers, Kara?
And we have to pull out. Yeah. Send me. Yes, I will ask about the data centers.
Oh,
That's
man,
a good topic.
Well, you would be doing the country a service because I don't think the left really understands the issue. I think the left is pushing the anti-data center message only because Trump is supporting it. There's a serious concern on the right wing about these data centers, and nobody really wants to address it right now. They just kind of pose it as a leftist thing. So you'd be doing a great service to America if you could get some of those questions in.
Okay, so we'll talk off camera and you can fill me in. Yeah, I have been looking into it. I know that they're doing a lot of stuff like that in New York and, Florida, right? Didn't Florida ban them? Florida banned them.
You got to talk to your buddy
what do you know
James
about tonight's
Fishback on
speech?
that one.
So you're with the Lindell Network. Mike Lindell has been one of the leading voices calling out election fraud.
There you go.
Trump is going to endorse him for Minnesota governor. He's currently ahead in the polls right now. Maybe he
Right.
says he's going to change the flag back. What do we know? What insider information do you know about tonight's speech?
Well, I asked President Trump about it 2 days ago, and I was the person that asked him when he said it's going to be bigger than ever. So it seemed like it was genuine that he actually has information to share that we haven't heard before. So I'm really hoping for that. Today at Carolyn Levitt's speech, briefing, did you watch it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just basically the mainstream media throwing shade on it in advance because I don't know, it was weird. Like everyone's question was trying to sort of just. Oh my God! Hey, Dave.
All right.
A lot of
let
people
me
are here.
take
but we're
over
looking
here.
forward to it. I can't wait to see your assessment of it afterwards, Owen, because you always have the best commentary. I'm a huge fan. I share your stuff. I watch you every day.
Oh, thank you, Kara. That's very sweet.
All right. No, so real quick, Owen, thanks for having me on. That was a surprise for myself. Kara, just accidentally we bumped into each other, and then we're here. Tristan Tate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I guess she's doing an interview of him. But as far as tonight goes, I think there's a couple components. One, in order for Donald Trump to go ahead and reject the mainstream media yanking the plug from amplifying the message of you and I and the rest of the viewers here have known since 2020, he needs to activate the emergency alert system, which circumvents the entire censorship regime of the mainstream disinformation media complex. That way, the whole country, via radio and TV, can learn about not only the illegal election in terms of its foreign influence, but also the domestic component. I think two topics are going to be covered tonight. One is John Radcliffe, I'm assuming, along with, again, I'm gonna say it's speculation, okay? So John Radcliffe, as well as Devin Nunes. So John Radcliffe's the CIA director. Devin Nunes, the former chairman of the HIPSI, who's now the chair of the President's Intel Advisory Board, have been working over the last, we'll just say, a few months, possibly longer, to go ahead and look into details of those that tried to manipulate John Radcliffe when he was the DNI back in January 6th or 8th, December 18th of 2020, to not disclose what he's about to disclose. Because you got to remember, it was the 51 CIA spies who lied covering for the Biden laptop that forced their surrogates and friends in the CIA from releasing the foreign interference information from
Hold
getting
on.
to Radcliffe. But on
Lack,
January 7th, he released it the day after the joint session certification.
hold on. Just wait. People are going to get lost in these details.
Yeah.
Do you really think there's going to be anything meaningful tonight? That's my question.
No, the meaningful part is they're going to release more information that the man is not going to cover in order to try to convince enough senators to pass the Save America Act. The end state is to pass the Save America Act, not to have any accountability for previous illegally conducted elections.
Yeah.
That
I
because
agree.
guess what? We have cucks in the White House, we have cucks in Congress, we have cucks all throughout, just spreading their virus throughout the country. And it's incumbent on me and you to force and motivate more than just that cowardice.
Hey, I'm saying don't put this burden on me. We're taking this movement
Sorry,
elsewhere.
dude.
This
Well,
movement,
guess what? You're the, you know what? In tribute to your blonde hair, I need to find a wig. You know what?
you know what? I agree. Actually, I think that because
I'm going to find a blonde wig. I'm going to play Bibi Netanyahu again, and you're going to play Donald Trump.
Hold on a second, though. In all seriousness, because we were talking on the phone earlier. We were talking on the phone earlier, and I want to hear about some of the other work you're doing because I think you're totally shadow banned with social media. It's like I don't really see much of your work anymore.
Why do you think?
And I think that's by design. Well, no, but what I'm saying is I have to deal with the same thing. But the problem is the hair overwhelms the shadow ban.
So you beat the AGI with the blonde hair.
They cannot censor the hair. The hair beats the shadow ban algorithm because of all the hate and attention it receives. It's the only way.
Can you imagine if I had one hair follicle alfalfa style and blonde at the same time and posted about it? Can you imagine the trillions of views I'd get?
Well, maybe we don't have to imagine. I mean, that's kind of the agenda, I think. We need to find a way. Here, let me see. I mean, it's not.
Can you AI paste a wig on me right now?
Look, it doesn't have to be an expensive endeavor. It doesn't have to be a long process. We just order this for you right here. 26-inch wig, human hair. It's human hair, just like mine. It's real human hair. And for $70, we can get you across the algorithm.
I need to launch a Give Send Go for $70 to purchase that. Because remember, I got to maintain my grift status.
Telling you, it's the only way. But when we were talking earlier, you were telling me some other things that you're doing right now. And I'm like, I've not heard about this. Normally I see your stuff. Normally I can follow your work. What else is going on?
I got massive lawsuits right now going on that are going to totally shapeshift the COVID fight and the J6 exposure and narrative, etc. We can talk about that for a few minutes.
Yeah, I want an update. Nobody else, you're banned everywhere. You're censored. So give us the update. This is what we get to do.
All right, so my focus is COVID accountability, truth and accountability, and J6 truth and accountability, right? So on the COVID front, I'm in the middle of discovery. It's going to be wrapping up in August. I'm being sued for defamation by this lady called Terry Adirham. She's the former acting assistant secretary of defense for health affairs, the one that signed the memo implementing the unlawful vaccine mandate in the military. Remember, I was in the reserves, lieutenant colonel, up until August of 2022, and I'm exposing all of that. So as part of that, she claims that the statement that she's the architect of the DOD's mandate that resulted in, harms, et cetera, and deaths, she was behind it. Well, guess what? She signed the memo. That's proven. And she also, we're also getting evidence that there were 23 people died from the virus, while 2,544 died from the jab that were military individuals. That's a 111x amount. That's what the data shows. So we're going to present this. Well, I'm going to prove my innocence in the defense, showing that my statements were true, and that's going to result in her criminal responsibility. And as part of the discovery, we're just going to further expose whether or not she communicated with Fauci. In fact, July 29th, Senator Rand Paul, who chairs the Homeland Security and Government Affairs Committee, I'm guessing he might ask the question, hey, Mr. Fauci, did you communicate with Terry Adirham? And if so, did you influence her in passing this memo? And why did she not get the memo approved and looked on by the JAG and General Counsel? Because the evidence we've looked at so far shows that she didn't staff the memorandum properly. So that's going to be the initial salvo in this COVID fight, because guess what? The DOJ is doing nothing. The White House is doing nothing on this front, but Rand Paul and Ron Johnson are, and this civil litigation is going to expose all of this at scale, the entire COVID cabal. Hopefully we get to state level criminal indictments on it.
I do have some Ron Johnson news, and that's probably your best. That's probably your best avenue through Congress right now, or
I just
Rand
spoke
Paul.
with them earlier today.
Yeah, and there's no doubt, and it's still such an uphill battle.
Chairman of the Budget Committee.
Did you see the new CDC director promoting mRNA shots yesterday?
Yep. And did you hear or see that it is a good chance that she will not get confirmed?
I haven't seen an update. That would kind of be surprising to me. Because the Democrats are going to vote against a black woman?
Well, we are trying our best
I don't
to
know.
make sure that
I
doesn't happen.
I think Trump put him in
And
check.
it's not because of that. It's because of she's a promoter of Big Pharma, right?
Well, I think that Trump put the Democrats in checkmate. They can't reject a black woman. That would be racist, obviously. So they're going to have to confirm her, I think.
All right, let's move on to the next subject, which is J6, which is near and dear to your heart because you were weaponized against more than pretty much anybody out there. You went to jail for Donald Trump, and he continues to betray you. Hopefully he pivots tonight with what he speaks about tonight. But, in the absence of transparency and accountability from Barry Loudermilk, Jim Jordan, Speaker Johnson, the White House, et cetera, and beyond, it is incumbent on us, men, to step in the breach and figure out the ways in which we're going to get to it. And so what I found is that the way we move forward in the transparency fight on January 6th is, luckily, God placed Mr. Fanone in front of me at the Jack Smith hearing. He defames me. I filed a $10 million lawsuit on him for defamation, as well as 2 other counts, assault and insulting words in Virginia, according to Virginia law. We filed in Fairfax County Court. And so we're going to litigate that. That's in the process. In addition to that, the Fairfax County Police Department is investigating criminally Fanone on whether or not he had a role in the 58 threats that I received subsequent to him, his defamatory statements about me. And in addition, I have 7, actually right here in my hand, I got 7 criminal counts that I referred to Todd Blanche and Janine Pirro for them. And I provided to them on pink paper, like the Pink Panther, because everything's fake and gay, right? And so we have to provide it in pink paper. I don't have it, I guess, in my bag right here. But it's 1 count for his false testimony on July 27th of 2021 before the J6 committee, because his body cam footage, now that, what's his name, Tom Fitton, through his litigation with Judicial Watch, has gotten the release of a D.C. court, all the MPD Police Department body-worn camera, and Michael Fanone's body cam footage doesn't align with his testimony. Thus, it's materially false. And so the statute of limitations runs on July 27th, Todd Blanche, Janine Pirro. And then the 6 other charges are as it relates to his assault and disruptions at the U.S. Capitol on January 22nd when he was a VIP witness of Jack Smith and Jamie Raskin before the Judiciary Committee hearing, when he just, as they say, started whiling against me and then was quickly booted out of the hearing as he assaulted a U.S. Capitol police officer on the way of being thrown out of that hearing. I don't know. Did you see that one where he tried to flex?
Yeah, and I think it was maybe after that when they decided they were basically going to shadow ban you, because I think that was the last time you were able to go viral. So I'm telling you, I'm going to send you that wig. But guys, listen, I'm telling you guys, Ivan, I was saying this to him earlier, and I mean it. Ivan is still in the swamp every day fighting the good fight. I give him credit, guys. I give him credit.
Hey, one droplet at a time. I'm trying to dry this place out.
No, I give you credit, brother. I give you credit. I'm here in Austin, Texas, and I've decided I'm checking out until the next political movement is ready to go. Probably.
Well, how about this? Why don't you join me, since you've checked out? Why don't you join me next week? I'll be riding Ragbri in Iowa. It's the longest standing bike ride across Iowa. It's been going on for 30 or 40 years. You start in western Iowa, you end in eastern Iowa, and you're biking for about 400 miles over 7 days. And you're getting to know the people of Iowa. I think a lot of people would like to see a grassroots America First individual starting to shape what 2028 is going to look like. Because guess what, folks? Vaxxed JD Vance ain't going to cut it for the America First crowd. Vaxxed Marco Rubio ain't going to cut it for the America First crowd. And anybody that's vaccinated does not belong a position in my government. That
Yeah.
is
Well,
a disqualifier.
yeah, let me just say this too. I think the next political revolution, as I see it, starts by breaking with politics altogether. That's kind of how I see it. There's no
Okay, so I'll see you
current
Saturday
political
night in Iowa.
Yeah,
If you don't,
you're gonna drag me out to Iowa, are you?
then I'll just call you a blonde cuck instead of just a cuck.
Do you think Todd Blanche is gonna get confirmed?
I don't know. What do you think, Kara?
I think that Cornyn is being spiteful, so maybe he'll get screwed.
Yeah, you're Texas senator.
Yeah.
He needs him to get confirmed.
I mean, it depends. I don't know. We got senators dropping like flies, so who knows?
He needs to get confirmed. Oh, that'll save everything if we get Blanche in, guys. Yeah, woohoo! Yeah, the country will be saved. We just need Blanche. I mean, give me a break.
But it doesn't matter who's the AG because we have a U.S. attorney for the District of Columbia by the name of Janine Pirro has been confirmed for quite some time now. Have you heard of anybody getting indicted? Like Fanone, Harry Dunn, David Lazarus, Lila Morris, Michael Bird for murder, right? Last I checked, they haven't indicted him for murder or Lila Morris for murder.
Hey, trust the plan until there's no more time left on the clock, and then there's
Right.
nothing we can do, okay?
And Owen, I do trust the plan because it's always my plan that I trust that I created.
Well, it's
Are
always
we going to talk about tonight or what?
it's always God's plan. That's what it's all about. Really.
Right. And I'm
It's
just
always
the
God's plan.
messenger.
I don't really anticipate too much tonight. I think it's going to be mostly the stuff that we've been talking about since 2020. And to me, the frustration just grows. We'll see. I mean, I won't, put the cart ahead of the horse here. But to me, it's like the frustration just grows because we've been talking about the stolen election for 6 years. It's like, where's the real accountability? It's like whenever people want to get serious about this stuff, I'm ready. But the Trump administration so far doesn't seem to be serious.
Yeah, they don't want to participate. Like, we're the ones creating transparency and accountability. I guess they're catching up to the transparency part a little bit. And it's up to me and you to force them into accountability, kicking and screaming, because they're listening to their mega donors from foreign interests and military industrial complex.
And there's only one path, Ivan. There's only one key to open that pathway. Do you know what it is?
I think this is back to 776.
No, that's. I was talking about the hair. You blew it. I set you up. I mean, I tried to alley-oop it, and you went.
You tried to give me the biggest beach ball, and I just totally whiffed.
I know. I tried to set you up for the spike. Although I could make this hair into like founding fathers' hair, though. I'm getting close to that look.
Oh, yeah. Give me a blonde. Yeah. Give me a blonde wig. Let's work on that for the next episode. I think you got something going here.
You and Kara go have dinner before the big speech. You two are two of the great American patriots in DC. We salute you.
One last thing. It's really important. If you give me one more minute, may I? It's important. I'm breaking it. So December 6th to December 7th, 2020, I reached out to Mr. Lynn Wood. Remember that guy? When he was a Georgia lawyer and lived in Georgia? And I said, hey, why don't you go ahead and file a lawsuit challenging the running of the runoff for the 2 U.S. Senate seats in 2020 in Georgia. And the reason is because Georgia Constitution and the election law dictated that only registered legitimate voters from the general election from November 3rd were allowed to vote in the runoff. Well, we were still litigating whether or not we had legitimate or illegitimate voters in the November 3rd, 2020 election. And so we had to postpone that, right? That was filed. It went all the way to the Supreme Court. It was the last case to be dismissed, I think, as a result of the 2020 litigation. But the reason why I raise it in preparation for tonight, depending on where President Trump goes, some of the work that we did, the memo that I provided to Lynn Wood and then his subsequent filing, may come back into play. So all the work and effort that we were doing back then, as well as you guys reporting on it and amplifying and letting the country know about it, we might see some of the fruits of our labor being finally showed to the normie lemmings. The problem is that the cowards in the White House don't want to present this information to the entire country through the emergency alert system, because that's what I recommended back in December 2020 when we already had the information. So unless there's an EAS, emergency alert system, broadcast of the airing of this evidence, it will go nowhere.
Well, and
So,
the other thing too is there's clearly some sort of a panic from the general Georgia Democrat apparatus. We've been seeing that.
yeah,
In the media.
Ossoff and Warnock.
Yeah, they've been trying to get
And
ahead
then
of the narrative. They've been trying to get ahead of the narrative that they're worried about. So the Democrats are trying to get ahead of the narrative in Georgia that Trump is about to lay out tonight. We both agree that the real agenda behind this speech is to push the SAVE Act through the NDAA, which is ultimately going to bury the military-industrial complex merger with Israel in it, and it's kind of a smokescreen to do that. So I'm wondering if this isn't Trump kind of throwing his weight around, and it's like, hey, I can bust you guys on this. Like, hey,
I think it's half-assed. The only way you do it full force is through the EAS, because then every single radio and news program is obligated to air the national security emergency airing of what he's going to present tonight. No. Absent that, no one's going to cover it. They're just going to say whatever they want and spin it however they want it, and there's going to be no Save America Act. So, and then Trump continues to go back to Truth Social and be an influencer.
And push data centers, because that's what we all need. We don't have enough of those. We're begging for more data centers here, Ivan. All right, good stuff. Good to hear from you, Ivan. Thanks for the little guest pop in there, too. Yeah, get a nice
follicle coming out there.
There you go.
It looks like it's blonde.
We may need to get the magnifying glass out, but we can.
But then Mr. Clean no longer if I do that. I don't know if I want to do that.
It's time. It's time. Okay, it's just there's only one way to beat the algorithm, Ivan. All right,
it's through blonde, luscious locks.
That's right. That's right. I speak from experience. All right,
all
right. We'll see you. All right, good stuff, serious stuff, fun stuff. What can you do? And I think we've all kind of reached the conclusion that tonight's speech is going to be putting pressure on the establishment in D.C. to pass the SAVE Act through the NDAA so that they can run that smoke screen and push the Israeli merger in there and make the big story about election integrity and SAVE Act. That's my anticipation of tonight. And the reason why Trump doesn't go full bore with it is because he kind of uses that as leverage. It's like, hey, I can go max with this. I don't have to. Let's all cooperate. Let's get these things passed. That's my anticipation. And there's not much time left before Congress goes on its next recess. So this is going to get louder, and the pressure cooker in D.C. on these two issues is going to ramp up as Congress's next recess gets closer. All right, 1 hour in the books. I want to talk about a little bit, at least, J.D. Vance with Rogan yesterday. It's very interesting when you hear J.D. Vance talk versus really the rest of the administration and right-wing establishment, maybe even entire Republican Party. Vance seems to have the leash loosened to say things that really nobody else is allowed to say. So we'll cover that and more on the other side of this break.
You're listening to the Owen Report on the Win Network.
You have found your political compass. The Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
All right, into hour number 2 of today's transmission. So J.D. Vance goes on Joe Rogan yesterday. And the first thing you notice, if you follow politics, if you follow the Trump administration, the first thing you notice about this is that J.D. Vance is able to say things and says things that nobody else really inside the Republican Party will address. Nobody else inside the Trump administration will address, specifically on foreign policy, specifically on Israeli influence. And then people say, well, why is that? And I think there's 2 answers. I think one answer is there is a strategy from the White House. There is a strategy from the White House on this, which is we will use certain individuals strategically to kind of counter the negative messaging of the White House on things like foreign policy that aren't popular, on things like data centers that aren't popular, even the Epstein files. You know, Vance is talking about how they blew the investigation, how they bungled the whole thing. It's like that's still not really working. You're just making it sound worse now. But he addresses the Israeli influence. He addresses the war in the Middle East and why we're there. And so it's obvious that Trump is either directing JD to do this or letting JD go with his instincts on this and try to maintain that bridge between Trump and the average American that is completely distraught over this foreign policy or the direction this administration is going. And Brushewitz kind of serves that role in a different way, and he's in the news today too. You know, I hear this, though, and it's clear what's going on now. Rubio is the Israeli lobby candidate for 28. Vance is going to be the big tech candidate for 28. Now, depending on who's smarter, and I think big tech actually gets to be smarter. I don't know if Israel gets to be, the Israeli lobby doesn't really get to be smarter in this instance because they're acting through a means of survival. So the Israeli lobby, you know, they'll go wherever they need to go to get support. And that's going to be through the Republican Party moving forward. Whereas big tech can now kind of go between the left and the right to get things done when they need to get things done. So in other words, if they really want to get Vance in, they can wait till 2032. Israel really wants to get Rubio in. They cannot wait until 2032. They need that now. So you kind of see that's the narrative building here. But Vance gets to gain all of this ground because it's just like when you saw the mainstream media in Hollywood attacking Trump, and that made him more popular. It's the same thing with the Israeli lobby. So as the Israeli lobby continues to attack J.D. Vance, he just becomes more popular. And what he's saying is already popular as far as foreign policy is concerned. So there's no doubt that Vance is kind of tapping into that. I don't think he's anti-establishment enough. I don't think any member of the Trump administration can win an election. So I don't necessarily think any of that changes. But the fact that Vance is given the loose leash to go out there and do this again is interesting. It is interesting. Now, you also had Caroline Leavitt. I can't even deal with the press conferences. You know, I didn't want to say anything. I know Kara was in there earlier. And God bless her and the great Lindell TV team. But, you know, it's like Caroline Leavitt is just having this chatty Cathy moment with her friends and they're giggling. And it's just like, oh my gosh. It's just like the whole thing is so unserious. And she goes on Pod Force One with Miranda Devine. And now she's defending the Epstein files again and saying it's a Washington, D.C. hoax. It's just like, what are you guys doing, man? So Vance they're all thinking about their future. Levitt thinking about her future in the media. Vance thinking about his future in politics. They can't be honest about the Epstein files for obvious reasons because that hurts their boss. So Levitt is going with, oh, it's just a hoax. The Epstein story is just a Washington, D.C. hoax. That's Levitt's angle. And then Vance's angle is, yeah, we blew the operation. We blew the investigation. We blew the operation. So that's oops. So Vance is, how do I try to get the Epstein stink off of me? Is, yeah, we blew the investigation. Levitt's, how do I get the Epstein stink off of me? Is, I'm just going to call it a hoax. Well, guess what? Neither of those things are convincing the American people of much, except that you're still trying to cover it up for the Trump administration. Then there's Randy Fine. What an interesting guy, huh? With the Israeli flag in his office. Randy Fine threatens to sink GOP agenda until Trump ally who dared criticize him gets fired. And that ally is Alex Brusiewicz. Now, we've been watching Alex in the last month or so go toe-to-toe on social media with the Israeli lobby. It's no secret that Randy Fine represents Israel. Just look at his office. That's where he flies the flag that he represents, is Israel. Randy Fine vows to vote against House rules over feud with Trump advisor. So this is Randy Fine, who works for Israel. This is Randy Fine holding Congress hostage, holding the Trump administration hostage for Israel's interests. And in this case, it's just all about speech. In this case, it's all about somebody saying things that they don't like. Now, Brusiewicz, he's delivered the receipts on all of these conflicts, let's say, all of these different social media spats. He's delivered all the receipts. And he's obviously tapped into what Americans are actually thinking and feeling when it comes to the Israeli lobby, whereas Randy Fine just works for the Israeli lobby and is now holding Congress and the Trump administration hostage on behalf of the Israeli lobby. It's amazing how the right wing, again, you sit here for 4 years of the Biden administration and you watch all the right wing turn into these, drum beating revolutionary patriots. Anybody that's not ready for revolutionary war in America, you're not a patriot. You're a liberal progressive Democrat. We need to take the country back, rah, rah. And then Trump gets into office and the same garbage goes on. And the foreign loyalists are more out in the open than ever. And all of a sudden it's, although they all become so meek now. Oh, they don't want to talk about it now. Oh, everything's great now. Everything's fine. I'm not going to speak truth to power now. Oh, I don't know if you've ever seen a more obvious example of a foreign loyalist in Congress. I don't know if it's ever been more obvious than this. So Brusiewicz now going at it with Fine. There's more numbers coming out on this, by the way. The Wall Street Journal just reported that Israel has funneled millions to Brad Parscale to help shape American public opinion regarding their interest in Iran. Time magazine published a similar report earlier this week. Israel has designated hundreds of millions of dollars to shore up support for the war and improves its image around the world with a $45 million lobbying contract to Brad Parscale. I believe this is the single largest FARA contract in history, yet there is no transparency regarding how Brad is allocating the money. The initial draft contract on the FARA website states that he will integrate narrative messages into Salem Media properties. Keep that in mind, folks. Salem Media, Brad Parscale, foreign agent of Israel, and promises to produce a minimum of 5,000 pieces of content each month with a guaranteed view count of 50 million. Are those the deliverables? And we'll see how much transparency we get on this. And of course, all the Israeli lobbyists and loyalists are attacking him now too. So good for Alex Brusiewicz. Thank you, Alex, for exposing the foreign loyalists. So I don't know how many details we're going to get. We got some of the details as far as the Israel directly influence coming out of Israel. So when you see the people go over and, schmooze with Netanyahu, and then they do all the pro-Israel stuff, all the stuff that we've been seeing that kind of led to the 7K meme. We had that first. Now we have this. Wouldn't you like to know? Wouldn't you like to know? It's like we can guess. I bet we could make a pretty good guess, and we could probably have a pretty good accuracy rating as far as who's getting the money. Who's getting the money from this foreign influence operation? I think you can take a look at social media and the people that are saying the same things and pushing the same agenda, on the same big issues. I think we could have a pretty high accuracy rating of who's on that payroll. I'd say we'd be pretty good at that. But wouldn't you like to know for sure? Wouldn't you like to know for sure? And I got the feeling that Brushewitz is the kind of guy that might want to know and let you know too. So I want to see this continue. I want to see this Israel lobby attack on Brushewitz continue. And I wonder now, so they're holding Congress hostage right now with Randy Fine's vote, and he might not be the last one, guys. Don't be surprised if somebody else pops up and says, if Trump doesn't get rid of Brushewitz, I won't vote either. Don't be surprised if you start to see that. Now, okay. So what is Trump going to do? Is Trump going to get rid of Brushewitz and expose once again how the Israeli lobby runs the country? Or, which, by the way, if he does that, what do you think Brushewitz is going to do? Brushewitz is probably going to turn up the volume. So it's like, can Trump even really do that? If Trump gets rid of Brushewitz, he just makes the situation worse. But if he keeps Brushewitz, Randy Fine and the like, are they really going to stonewall Congress? Are they really going to hold Congress hostage? I'm rooting for it. I say go for it. And ironically enough, it's only going to end up benefiting us. So Randy Fine is going to stop the Israel merger. Randy Fine is going to stop the federalization of elections. Randy Fine is going to stop the total selling out of our country because he's trying to hold his vote hostage because he doesn't like somebody saying something that's associated with Trump. I mean, this is hilarious. So I'm rooting for Brushewitz big time. And really, there is nothing that Trump can do that wins now. Unless, of course, he wants to call Randy Fine's bluff and say, I don't think you will. I don't think you will withhold your vote over Brushewitz. A game of political chicken between Randy Fine and Donald Trump now. And Mark Levin's got to weigh in. His foreign interests are at play. And of course, he's on the side of Randy Fine. This is so funny. The irony here is hilarious. Levin says Randy is right. Oh, of course. Of course, Mark, the never Trumper. Of course, Mark, the foreign loyalist. We have a very tough midterm election coming up. Oh, really? A tough midterm election coming up. Why is that? Why would we have a tough midterm election coming up? If Republicans were so successful, if the Trump administration was so successful, if they've been delivering on the America First agenda and the campaign promises, then why would you have a tough election coming up? That's weird. Okay. So we're admitting that now. And then he says the lowlifes need to be cleaned out as they're turning off too many patriotic Trump supporters. So now he's saying we need to not do, so we're about to lose the midterms, so we need to have an even smaller tent. This is Mark Levin's logic. And all of this, of course, is in what? In support of Israel, in Israel's interest. So we're about to lose the midterms, so we need to make our tent even smaller, says Mark Levin. No. It's turning off patriotic Trump supporters. Oh, Mark. You know what's turning off patriotic Trump supporters? A foreign flag. You know what's turning off patriotic Trump supporters? Putting foreign interests first. You know what's turning off patriotic Trump supporters? Another war in the Middle East that we were told wouldn't happen. That's what's turning off patriotic Trump supporters, amongst many other things, like yourself. Oh, the irony. Foreign agents flock together as usual. Oh, but it's not limited to the Republican Party. John Fetterman warns he would leave the Democrat Party if it turns its back on Israel. I mean, guys, you know, if it's never been obvious before, isn't it obvious now who runs the country? You want to know why you're getting a war in the Middle East and not mass deportations? Because the Israeli lobby has more money and influence than the mass deportation lobby. Do you get it? It's really that simple. That's it. There's no money involved in mass deportations. There's no money involved in deep state arrests. There's no money involved in actually reforming the government and saving the country. There's no money. All the money is involved in foreign and special interests. And it's like you're making political decisions and you're framing political debates around the interest and the agenda of a foreign country. What other conclusion am I supposed to reach other than that foreign country has conquered my country, at least politically speaking? It's kind of obvious now. It's kind of actually ridiculous how obvious it is now. So, okay, Fetterman, I bet he does. I bet Fetterman does leave the Democrat Party. Now, for Fetterman, it's going to be a political decision more than anything else. Sure, he'll take money from the Israeli lobby. No, Fetterman is thinking about the next election. And Fetterman thinks that being on the pro-Israel side is the winnable stance to win a Pennsylvania Senate election. I think he might be wrong on that, but I think that's the estimate he's making right now. Is if you go anti-Israel, you're not going to win political elections. Or maybe if you go anti-Israel, you're not going to get the money that you need to win elections. What do you think, guys? I think Fetterman becomes a Republican ahead of the midterms. I don't think that wouldn't surprise me one bit. I actually think if I'm an odds maker on this, I'd say that's about even odds. I'd say you're at about a 50-50 split right now. Fetterman could end up a Republican before the midterms. I'd say maybe right now, 45% chance. 45% chance Fetterman is a Republican for the midterms. Yeah. Yeah. Now is that going to change his vote in the Senate? I don't know. But what do you guys think is going to happen? If Fetterman says, I'll leave the Democrat Party if they go down an anti-Israel political stance, I mean, guys, that's going to happen. The Democrat Party is going to go anti-Israel. Even Nancy Pelosi voted against the merger of our military, guys. Nancy Pelosi, the woman that is on tape saying she would let America fall if it meant Israel survived. And even she voted against the merger. The Democrats are going anti-Israel for the midterms, folks. Now, it might not be as aggressive as some of the stuff you see online, but they're gonna tap into that. So Fetterman says he's going to leave the party. Let's see. Let's see. Now, you know, one thing that I've been talking about lately is all of this complaining that the right is engaging in, and then they never directed at the Trump administration. They never directed at the Republican Party, which is in power. It's kind of the big frustration. That's why I'm like, hey, you guys aren't serious about anything. Let me know when you are. You know, here's Thomas Massey essentially saying the same thing. And I just don't know how you can disagree with this logic. I really don't.
I don't think the problem, is that our elections aren't secure because we control the House, we control the Senate, we control the White House, and in some degree, we control the Supreme Court. So I asked my Republican colleagues, why are you complaining about election fraud? We won all the damn elections. The fraud that's going on is we're not holding ourselves to the promises that we made of fiscal responsibility, putting America first, making America healthy. The problem is we're wasting the opportunity that we were given in these elections, that we won, all of them.
He's 100% right. Now, you might disagree and say, no, I think elections are rigged. That might be a point of contention. But as far as hey, we won all the elections, we're in power, what are you complaining about? Why are you begging people to vote for you again? You're already in power. Why aren't we just delivering? He's 100% right. I don't know how anybody could disagree with this. It's like the same thing. I see this complaining from all of these digital social media influencers. I don't know if this is part of their paid operations or not, but they're all complaining. People need to go to prison from the Biden administration for the auto pen. People need to go to prison from the Biden administration for the border invasion. People need to go to prison for spying on members of Congress. It's like, yeah, okay, so we all agree, but then you guys get mad at us for actually holding them accountable? You guys get mad at us because we're saying this stuff, but we're actually looking at the people we elected when we say it? You guys are mad at us because we have the same complaints that you have. We're just willing to say them to the party in power that we voted for to get the results. You guys just post it online and then never hold the party in power accountable? It's very weird. It's like we have the same complaints. I'm directing the complaints to the people I voted to put in power. You're complaining at us. Makes no sense. Now, O'Keefe testified yesterday. He followed it up last night with this. Senator Ron Johnson is the real deal. His team is already working with me on subpoenas for ballot harvesters we reported on. You know, Ron Johnson, he's done so much to prove he's the real deal. The problem is we just never get results. You know? That's the problem. Ron Johnson was there first and foremost with the vaccines and the whole rollout and the issues. Still no results. It's going to be the same thing here probably. So that's my contention. It's just, let me know when you guys are serious. Let me know when the Republican Party is serious about anything besides war in the Middle East, let me know. Okay? Let me know. I'm ready. We're ready. The American people are ready, guys. We are ready. If Trump doesn't want to be the American hero that we gave him the opportunity to be, then that's fine. And I get it. That's a tough decision. I'm not running for president. I get it. But this is not a serious movement. It's not. It's not a serious movement. And I get it. And I got into a debate yesterday on X with Cernovich about this. And I get it. Fine. Hey, say it. Say the Republicans are better than Democrats. Hey, that's fine. I'm not disagreeing, but that's not moving the needle for me. I have no motivation to support Republicans. None. And there's nothing in me that will try to get my audience to support Republicans either. Can't do it. And part of that is through learned experience. It'd be one thing. You talk about January 6th and you talk about, oh, look, people led innocent Americans into a trap on January 6th. And you say, okay, yeah, January 6th was a trap. Well, I'm not going to lead anybody into that trap again. I'm not going to lead somebody into a trap because we think Trump is going to be the real deal. I'm not going to lead somebody into a trap because we think Republicans are finally going to follow through with the agenda and the mandate that we vote for. I'm not going to do that. So until I see until the administration or the Republicans want to get serious about saving this country, let me know. But I get it. It's tough. It's tough. It's easy to send the military to the Middle East, actually. It's expensive, but it's actually easy. We don't have to deal with it. We don't have to think about it. We don't actually know what's going on. It's all propaganda that we get. So that's actually easy. Send the military over there, whatever. But putting the military to action here for mass deportations, that's nasty. That's ugly. That's tough. They don't want to do it. They don't want to do it. And that's what needs to be done. So if you want to be serious about deportations, you will have the military running deportation operations. You will get the military out of the Middle East, and you will send them out into these sanctuary cities, and you will start mass deportations. That's what you will do. It's ugly. It's nasty. It's not something that we want to do or see. It has to be done. And if you want to be serious about mass deportations, that's what you have to do. But don't sit here and talk about mass deportations if you're not serious about it. That's what needs to be done. Your only other option with mass deportations is to call in all the people from the Biden administration and say, you guys are going to reverse engineer what you did in 4 years with 20 million people invading the country. You're going to reverse engineer that, and you're going to help us get 20 million people deported, or we're going to put you in prison. It's that simple. So everybody involved with bringing in 20 million illegal aliens, you guys are going to get involved with this administration to reverse engineer that and get 20 million out, or you're going to prison. Your pick. So let me know. Let me know if they want to get serious. Don't tell me I don't offer solutions. Everybody knows this is what you have to do. ICE cannot do this. ICE simply cannot do this. And you could argue this is not even what ICE was designed to do. This is a military operation that has to be done, or it's a 4-year operation that has to be reverse engineered from the previous 4 years. And if they don't want to do that, then they're just not serious. They're just not serious. But they're always serious about war in the Middle East. And maybe that's why this is happening, by the way. U.S. debt now exceeds 100% of GDP for the first time since World War II. Kind of makes you think we might be in another world war. They just don't call it that. So that's a pretty alarming stat. Marco Rubio, he is campaigning against far left-wing extremists. Rubio launches global effort to target left-wing extremists. An international Antifa summit at the State Department is raising concerns that President Donald Trump is expanding a crackdown on left-wing groups. Well, yeah, kind of needs to be done. They're shooting at us, you know. Kind of a serious issue here when we're getting shot at. Marco Rubio kickstarts wild summit on far-left political terrorism. You know, the issue that you have now with this, it becomes so hard when you're supporting Israel. I mean, let's just say what it is. How can you call out anything about terrorism while you're supporting Israel? You just can't. You just look like a fool. You look like a fraud, and nobody believes you. And it turns out they're really aiming this at anti-tech, anti-data centers, anti-flock camera people, and they're aiming this at anti-war with Iran people. That's where they're actually aiming this. So not at the actual left-wing terror groups that are out there organizing and activating in the streets and committing criminal acts. They're going after anti-tech, pro-Iranian, and anti-Semitic networks, and that's in their actual copy. That's what they're saying the actual agenda is. So they're not even really addressing the left-wing terror, which is even worse because they're going to sell you that is what led to 2 assassination attempts on Trump. That is what led to an assassination of Charlie Kirk. And then they're not even going to address the real leftist terror issue. They're just going to use it for the next political agenda. So I don't anticipate anything changes with that either. They're going to go with the war on drugs. The war on drugs, guys. You know, this is an interesting one in right-wing politics. So Laura Trump had Sarah Carter for an interview, drug czar. Did you know she's a drug czar? On socialist push to stop fighting the war on drugs, the Democrats end the war on drugs would be the beginning of the end of the American people. This is the dumbest. I'm sorry. This is such an old, worn-out thing. from right wingers. Just drop it, guys. Just drop it. Just drop it. Even if you want to try to pretend like you're doing the right thing with the war on drugs, and maybe you believe that, it's failed miserably. Okay? It's failed miserably. Just drop it. Okay? People can get drugs. The war on drugs hasn't stopped that. The war on drugs, I mean, you couldn't, if you don't want to say it's led to the most drug use in the country's history, we certainly have both things happening. There's a war on drugs and we have the most drug use ever. So the whole thing at every metric, at every angle, it's just failed miserably. So I would say decriminalize everything. If you want to regulate it, tax it, that's fine. The war on drugs has failed. It is a massive failure. It's time to just drop it. And it's one of those things that the right-wing Republican Party just holds on to, like, oh, you know, we're against drugs. We're better. This is our moral high ground. Drop it. Drop it. Just go with the freedom angle. Just drop it. Just say, hey, you know what? Drugs are bad for you. Hey, you know what? We don't think you should do drugs. We don't endorse drugs. But you know what? People are free to use them. And, you know, we tried to stop that. We did a war on drugs. It failed. It didn't stop drug use. It made the drug trafficking epidemic worse than ever, drug use worse than ever. So, you know, it's an upsetting thing, but it's freedom. People are free to use drugs. We don't support that, but we're dropping the war on drugs. Just drop it. Just drop it. It's a miserable failure. All right, how many of you guys are dealing with the smoke from the Canada wildfires? Hundreds of Canada wildfires prompt U.S. air quality alerts as smoke spreads south. I'm seeing some brutal videos and images. You know, I was complaining about the sun being blotted out here. You guys are dealing with something else with bad air quality. At least 17 states under air quality alerts as Canadian wildfire smoke spreads in the Midwest and Northeast, raising questions about the World Cup final. Yeah, the World Cup final Sunday in New York City. It was always a mistake to put it there, by the way. I can't believe they put it there. But they did it. It's too late. If you were going to do an outdoor stadium, it should have been Kansas City. But really, it probably should have been Dallas. Final probably should have been in Dallas or Los Angeles. Okay. So, I mean, the stadium is going to be right at the heart of the worst of the smoke. But, okay, this isn't all about the World Cup. How many of you guys are dealing with this right now? How many of you guys in the audience are dealing with the bad air quality right now? Every once in a while, we have that issue in Austin. We have the allergy issues, which sucks if you have allergies, the cedar fever, and then we'll get the sands of the Sahara as well, and that'll kind of mess with our air quality a couple times. I've never seen anything like that, though. That's eerie. And, I mean, you really, you know, you go outside. Wildfire smoke pushes air quality to dangerous levels for millions of Americans. Have you guys heard about this? I've heard nothing about this. I caught it in the news today. Don't be fooled by the title. Take Care of America's Veterans Bill is a bad deal. That's from the IAM Union. I'm just going to roll through these headlines. It's strange that we're not hearing more about this. Again, the veterans lobby is nothing compared to the foreign lobby, though. 71% of veterans back the TCAVA bill in new survey. Mission Roll Call CEO says. So one site says the veterans hate it. Another site, military.com, says the veterans love it. I've not heard anything about it. I'm wondering if the veterans in the audience have. The military benefits bill that's tearing the veterans community apart, the Take Care of Americans Veterans Act, may not get a House vote this week because of an ongoing controversy surrounding the measure. So they're going to punt this beyond the summer recess. A sweeping veterans benefits measure pitched by Republicans as a boon for tens of thousands of veterans has instead become a divisive wedge for the normally tight-knit military advocacy community and split the GOP caucus. The fight over the Take Care of America's Veterans Act, which they pulled from the floor, by the way, they were going to vote on it today. I heard they weren't. They were going to pull it and not vote on it and punt it. I haven't heard anything differently yet. It's got all kinds of problems. It's strange you're not hearing much about this. You're not hearing much about this. And it really is like you can't even get a straight story. What the Take Care of America Veterans Act would do and why veterans groups disagree. House debates sweeping veterans bill as organizations split over disability charges. Not much news on that. Is that, if any veterans in the audience or any veterans in the chat, are you guys hearing about this? Is there any talk or buzz about this? I didn't hear about this until yesterday, and I was told they were pulling it. They weren't even going to vote on it. They were going to punt it till next session. I'm curious if the veterans know about this. I'm not hearing from my veterans about this, so I don't think so. Oh, boy. Meanwhile, Iran condemns barbaric U.S. attack near Children's Cancer Hospital. Iran accuses U.S. of cowardly war crime, as doctors say blast was so close they thought the hospital was struck. Iran has accused the United States of committing a cowardly war crime by striking near a children's hospital and compared its actions to Israel targeting healthcare facilities in Gaza. Yeah. Well, I think whatever you want to think about that story, this is what's unfortunate with the foreign policy currently. In America, we get propagandized, and in Iran, they get propagandized too. The people all around the world get propagandized by their government. Now, there'll probably be some rejection of that story. It's like they wanted to reject that we bombed that girl's school, and now it's been confirmed. Trump has admitted it. So maybe they'll admit this at some point too. And there are videos and images of this. But even if you don't believe it, you understand this is what's being pushed into Iranian media. So the Iranian media is reporting that we blew up a school. The Iranian media is reporting that we just almost bombed a cancer facility. It turns out the school bit was true. Maybe you don't believe this one, maybe you do. This is how the governments are working against the people all around the world. So I don't think this thing is ending anytime soon. I got to tell you guys, this thing doesn't look like it's ending anytime soon. Now, there have been some new tactics in recruiting people to the military. And by the way, I don't know where this started. It really got popular a couple years ago in Israel, where you had, and they would always choose like hot chicks is what they would do. They got all these hot chicks in the IDF, and they would basically do social media videos. And so you associate the IDF with hot chicks, and then, maybe it motivates people to go join the IDF. Hey, sex sells, right? Okay, oldest trick in the book. Well, I'm wondering if there's not a similar thing happening in the United States. Now, I'm going to show you this video here. This is a young guy, claims he's 19 years old, claims he's in the military. And when I first saw this video, I said, he's got to be faking it. I said, there's no way this is real. And I don't know enough because I haven't been in the military. People in the military could probably react to this and say, okay, yeah, this could be real or not, because they have more experience living the life than I do. My first response to seeing this video was, there's no way this kid is actually in the military. There's no way. It's some bit he's doing online. But then I thought twice and I said, it wouldn't surprise me one bit, since we know the U.S. military is taking all kinds of different cues and tactics from the Israeli military right now. We know the Israeli military uses social media to drive up recruitment. We know the U.S. military is doing that as well. Have they gotten to a point, the U.S. military, like the Israeli military, have they gotten to a point where they would have individuals posting on social media like, look, it's cool, look, it's hip, to try to drive more kids to join the military? So at first I said, there's no way this is true. And then I thought, well, maybe it is, because he claims in the video that they know he does this, that they know that he does these videos. So if you take it at face value, this tells me that they're running social media operations to try to recruit young men to join the military to fight this next war. But you tell me, and vets in the audience, you tell me, do you think this kid is actually military or not?
Hello?
Damn, Michael Jackson.
Wow. Are you doing this in your mother's house? You're doing this in your mother's house?
My mother's house.
Yeah.
Alexa, pause. My mother's house.
Mm-hmm.
I live by myself. I'm in the military.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm fucking 19. I joined at 17.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Does the military know you're just like prancing around with guns on Omi TV?
Actually, yeah.
They do?
Actually, yeah.
Wow.
Actually. I do it all the time when I'm on at base.
This is what my tax money goes to?
Yeah. Actually, until we get deployed, I don't want to hear shit.
Oh, okay.
Because we're military for y'all. We're having fun until we get deployed and die.
Oh.
So let us have fun.
Okay. You have all the fun you want.
Marine Corps, motherfucker, for life.
Do you guys think that he's actually in the military or not? Now, I wouldn't be surprised if he's faking it. That was my first response is, yeah, he's just faking it. It's just some online bit. But I thought twice and I said, you know what? It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me for 1 second if the U.S. military said, go ahead and post your stuff on social media. It'll drive up recruitment numbers for young kids. But I don't know. My response is there's no way, right? There's no way that that's an actual guy in the military. I just don't believe. But I don't know. We're getting mixed responses. We're getting mixed responses in the chat to that. It's hard, but it is hard to, you don't know. You look in the 90s and even in the 2000s, 0% chance, right? I mean, 0% chance somebody in the military would be representing themselves like that. 0% chance. But it's the year 2026, guys. It's a different world out there. And they will use social media to drive up recruitment numbers. So I don't know. I can't say for sure, guys. Maybe we'll look at the chat later, see what you guys think.
You're listening to the Owen Report on the Win Network.
Folks, have you tried the official energy drink of the Owen Report yet? Crash Out Energy. Created by me for us. That's right. If you're like me and you drink energy drinks constantly, eventually you realize, you know what? I can't be drinking these toxic energy drinks the rest of my life. Too many bad ingredients. It's just not good for me. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to give you a healthy alternative with 200 milligrams of caffeine without all the bad stuff in it. In fact, you know what I did? I took out the bad stuff and I added the good stuff, the stuff that's good for your heart, the stuff that's good for your brain. This is for energy and mental focus. Crashout.energy. Secure your canister today. I love getting the reviews in, guys. I love getting the reviews in. People telling me how much they like it. Helps them with focus, helps them with energy, no jitters, no crash. That's what it's all about. Crashout.energy. Get your canister today and give us a review, guys. I really like hearing the reviews. This is like my baby. I made this energy drink. I drink it every day. It really means a lot when you guys give me a review, especially when it's a positive review. That's the one that I like the most, is the positive review. Crashout.energy. Secure your canister today.
It's the fastest 3 hours on the internet. It's the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
All right, third and final hour of today's transmission. We got some other things to address, some other headlines here, and then a little slop for you. Did you hear about this one? No. I bet you didn't. Shooting at Cypress area Kroger stemmed from domestic disturbance. Constable Mark Herman said shots rang out inside the Kroger at Cypresswood and Mason Road. 2 men were shot and taken to area hospitals in critical condition. Nice little grocery store shooting in Texas today. You know, that stuff. They pick and choose when they want you to know about it. Yikes. Boy, we got a lot of this going on. Disturbing video shows elderly man being beaten and robbed outside of Baltimore 7-Eleven. Now, you may have seen this video. It's pretty brutal. It's been going viral on social media all day long. And yeah, it's a group of teenagers beating, just basically mobbing up on a 74-year-old man. And, you know, look, people are playing the racial angle, obviously. People are playing the what if the roles were reversed card, obviously. I say it's fair game. But to the people that don't want to do the identity politics, to the people that want to avoid the demographical issues with these trends, you know, I think that we have to find a way to communicate effectively so that we can get results out of this. Because this cannot be tolerated, guys. I mean, I can't believe all these stories that are in the news today. I mean, I got another one here. Mississippi teen accused of killing elderly couple who he worked for. 17-year-old kills a 74 and a 71-year-old in Mississippi. Okay. Now, with a situation like that, okay, you think easy, long sentence, life sentence, right? We have to be looking at the focus. We have to be putting the focus right now on the courts. We have to be putting the focus right now on the justice system, guys. And I understand the focus on demographics. Okay, there's a solid reason for that. Okay, so I'm not telling you to avoid that conversation, but it's not really an effective means to change the results of this. We have to be focusing on these judges. We have to be focusing on the results of these cases. I'm sorry to say, these kids that tried to savagely beat and rob this 74-year-old man, these kids should get extended sentences. That's the problem here, guys. You can talk about demographics and all that stuff all day long. The problem is these judges are letting them off the hook. That's the problem here. We should be so intolerant of this. I mean, we should be so intolerant of this that there's no doubt when they get in front of a judge, it's going to be years. Yeah. You guys ganged up on an old man, and we're going to press charges of attempted murder is what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. Every single one of you is going to get charged with attempted murder. And you know what? We'll take a plea bargain. And we'll take those charges down, but you're going to jail for a long time. You're going to jail for a long time. Years, decades even. This should be completely removed as an element of our civilization. And the only way to do it is to punish the individuals that do it with extremely harsh sentences. It's very likely these boys might not even go to jail. It's very likely that they'll get a slap on the wrist, especially if they're a first-time offender. There should be zero tolerance, zero tolerance. This should be treated as attempted murder and throw on robbery and everything else, armed robbery, everything else that's evident in this video. And I mean, stack it. Stack it, and they'll be facing 100 years. And we'll say, we'll plea this down. You plead guilty, we'll plea this down. 10 years minimum. Minimum. Quite frankly, 20 would be the minimum. But 10 years minimum. This cannot be tolerated anymore. I'm so sick and tired of this crap. And the same thing happens every time. They get a light sentence and they get back out on the streets and they do it again. It's outrageous that we tolerate this. It's outrageous. And then what happens? Oh, a couple years down the road, they commit a much worse crime. And you find out, oh, they had priors. They were prior violent offenders, and they got a slap on the wrist, and a judge put them back on the streets. And it's always a Democrat city. It's always a liberal judge, a liberal prosecutor, a liberal district attorney. It's always the same people. I can't believe we tolerate this. That was Baltimore. I don't know, man. I'm just like, I'm so sick of seeing and hearing this stuff. I can't believe we put up with it as a country. I don't get it. 10 years minimum. 10 years minimum. And apparently now it's so offensive to even have in Irania Zaruska mural. An artist painted on the side of a building an Irania Zaruska mural here. You can see it on the screen. And it kept getting vandalized different ways. They kept vandalizing it. They kept getting threats. So they painted over it. So just the image of a white victim, who is dead, who got killed. She was stabbed to death on a train trying to go home from work. Just a white victim is too triggering to these people. Unbelievable. We mentioned this earlier. I wonder what the fate of Todd Blanche is going to be. I wonder what the fate of this woman is going to be, Erica Schwartz. I'm going to move on here, but she testified in her hearing, her confirmation hearing. She testified that she believes mRNA technology is safe and effective. She even said the words safe and effective. Well, you know what? Let's play it. It's so safe and effective is back, guys. And this time it's the Trump administration.
Dr. Schwartz, do you believe that mRNA vaccines, including the COVID-19 vaccine, are safe and effective?
Senator, thank you for meeting with me earlier. I do appreciate that. I will say for the record, you do have the most beautiful office in the Senate. That being said, I do believe that mRNA...
You're all welcome over afterwards, yeah.
I do believe that mRNA technology is safe and effective.
You're all welcome over afterwards, yeah.
I do believe that mRNA technology is safe and effective. I do believe that mRNA technology is safe and effective. I do believe that mRNA technology is safe and effective. I do believe that mRNA technology is safe and effective. I do believe that mRNA technology is safe and effective.
What's that necklace there, too? It's an interesting necklace, isn't it? What's that on her necklace, guys? I can't quite make it out. Something there. Anyway, you know what's funny? Do you know why? Do you know why all of that happened, guys? And and Schwartz is so new to this game, I guess. She doesn't understand that she just showed the entire hand. Schwartz just accidentally exposed her entire hand right then and there, guys. Oh, we met prior. This whole thing was a setup, guys. The whole thing was a setup. And I know it's normal for them to meet with different members of Congress before the confirmation hearing. I know that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that that question and answer was specifically a setup. The Democrats know that many Trump voters do not like vaccines. The Democrats know that many Trump voters are against mRNA technology, which, by the way, she says technology too. Think about that. She says technology. Oops, wasn't supposed to say that. So now this is the new nominee for CDC director for Trump. This is the third one. We'll see if she gets confirmed. Oops. Operation Warp Speed was about injecting you with technology. Oops. She just let the cat out of the bag, guys. It was technology they injected you with, not a vax. Oops. So they set up that entire thing, and they just couldn't help it. They couldn't help but bimbo up the hearing room. They couldn't help but chatty Cathy up the hearing. So we were in the offices together sipping tea. They set the whole thing up. It was, hey, you need to go out there and do a humiliation ritual of Trump supporters that think mRNA technology or mRNA injections are bad. And you need to go out there and you need to scold them and tell them it's good. Are you willing to do that? And she said, yes, I'll do it. And then they went out there and they did it, and they showed their entire hand. The whole thing was staged. The whole thing was set up. She basically exposed that. And then she even says it's a technology we injected you with. Nice. Now, speaking about somebody who's been involved in technology, injectable technology, life extension, AI. Ray Kurzweil. He's known as an AI prophet. You know, his name, he used to get brought up a lot more. I don't know if he's still involved with Google. He used to be very involved with Google. I don't know if he still is much. He had a conversation with Tony Robbins. And then Tony went on with Secretary Kennedy. And he's talking about what Ray Kurzweil was saying to him. And there's no doubt, you can think whatever you want about Ray Kurzweil. I mean, he thinks he's going to live forever. He's planning on living forever. And he's been in the highest levels of AI and tech that's involved in this. So think whatever you want about Ray Kurzweil. He knows what he's talking about. So when he says this to Tony Robbins, I think he's being honest. I think he's telling Tony Robbins the truth. And so here's Tony bringing it to the Secretary Kennedy podcast, the future of nanotech and AI.
They have these new robots for Neuralink, and it'll put it in less time than it has for LASIK surgery. Now, he goes, that's brutal. He said, that's technology is the beginning of it, and people use that for medical purposes. But he said, you won't need that. He said, in 2031, 2032, nanotechnology will be advanced enough that by 2035, it'll be common to link your brain to the AI internally. The nanobots will do it. So what does that mean? It means if I said to you, did you see 2001: A Space Odyssey, or whatever movie it was, right? And when I ask you that, you might remember the poster, you might remember the actor or the actress or something like that. That's how you remember things. You go, yeah, I remember seeing that, right? Well, he said, now when you ask the question in your mind, you'll get the answer again, but you won't know if it's your organic brain that gave it to you or the AI brain that gave it to you. And he said, you won't care because it'll have a longer memory, it won't go away, and you'll have access. I said, man, that sounds a little creepy. And he said, to you and I, it sounds creepy. And I'm 66 years old, right? So he says, and he's 79. He said, but the young person, we're the only generation that will have ever been born without AI now. Every other generation will grow up with it. If they say, I can speak 10 languages, and all I got to do is drink a few nanobots, they're going to do it. He said, and people will do it as they get older because they don't want to lose their memory, and people will do it for medical purposes. And eventually it'll be a standard like anything else that occurs. And he says, that's how we keep up. We merge with the technology.
So I think this is an accurate depiction. And I think what Ray is saying to Tony here is maybe a little bit of a sales pitch, but I do think it's accurate as far as that's what they're trying to do. Now, why do I say it's a sales pitch? It shouldn't be difficult to use deductive reasoning and linear thinking to see where this goes. Obviously, once humanity does this, I mean, I don't know how long from what it could take a second. You'd have to reach some critical mass. You'd have to reach some threshold. But once humanity does this, essentially now humans can just be programmed. At that point, humans become robots. At that moment, free will dies. Human free will dies. And anybody that puts this into their body can become a programmable robot. Now, I'll say this about Ray Kurzweil. He's the kind of guy that will actually do this himself. He's the kind of guy that actually believes in this stuff. He'll actually inject this stuff into himself. He'll actually be the test case. So, you know, whatever issues you might have with Ray Kurzweil, futurist, you know, some of the things he said, he'll actually inject himself with this stuff. He'll actually plug himself into this stuff before anybody else does. So to me, there's a level of like, okay, if you're that rogue and pioneer about it, then I kind of respect it. Because he will inject this stuff into himself before anybody else does. But clearly, you see where this is going. The powers that be, the people that run this planet, you know, us pesky humans, we have this thing called free will. And they're just sick of it. They're just sick of these pesky humans and their free will. So all they have to do is convince you to inject this nanotechnology into your body. It'll make you superhuman. Everyone else is doing it. The kids are doing it. And then now, whenever they want, all they have to do is flip the switch, and everybody that took that can become programmable. Every single person. And then what are they going to program you to do? You mean, you name it. Whatever they want. So that's obviously where this goes. Now, we're not really there yet. We're still in the opening act of all of this with AI and nanotechnology. But that's where it's going. That's the agenda here, guys. Can we stop it is the only question. It's really the only question is, can we stop it? Can we stop the future? You can't stop technology. You can't stop innovation. And really, you don't want to. At least I don't. But can you stop it from being turned against us? Can you stop it from being weaponized against us? Can you stop it from enslaving the planet instead of freeing it? That's the question. That's the question. And this fight with the data centers is kind of our first real battle with it, isn't it? I mean, can we win or not with data centers? And it's still political right now. I mean, I guess you got people out there committing acts of vandalism against flock cameras, but for the most part, it's still just political. We saw a similar thing with 5G towers. But still, this is mostly just political. You know, you're not out in the streets battling programmed humans or, you know, robots and AI yet. Maybe you get there. But this is the first real fight, I think, for we the people to say, okay, hold on a second. We're not just diving into man and machine merging. We're not just diving into this and you're not just going to tell us this is what's great and this is what we want. We're going to do a review here, and this pushing of the data centers is our first point of contention. And you know what? We'd like to just stop this right now. So I got to say, this is funny. Sophie Cunningham has become the it girl of the WNBA. She has unintentionally become the it girl of the WNBA. And you know what the lesson here is? You know, just be yourself. Just be yourself. The WNBA tried to push Angel Reese on the consumer audience. It didn't work. Even Caitlin Clark, like, they kind of screwed that deal up. They kind of killed the golden goose with Caitlin Clark. And now I think she has an identity conflict. She doesn't know, so she's not even the it girl anymore. The star player, Asia Wilson, she's by far the best player. She just doesn't really have the personality. So Sophie Cunningham has just been herself, and she's become the new it girl. And now she's against data centers on social media, getting millions of views, going viral. So how do we save our farmland and stop all these dumb data centers? The dumb blonde Sophie Cunningham, the WNBA's new it girl, taking a political stand against data centers on social media. I love it. I love it. Go, Sophie, go. Product of Columbia, Missouri. Product of, she wasn't Hickman. She was, what was the other school out there? Sophie Cunningham won the state title in high school. I called her games. I was calling high school games when I was 22 years old, I think from 22 to 24, I was doing play-by-play for high school games. And I actually called one of her state championship games. I think she went to, was it Rockman? What was the name of it? So anyway, product of Missouri, product of Columbia, product of Mizzou, and she's become the new WNBA it girl. Rockbridge, that's where she played. Yeah, Rockbridge. The other girl that was on that team, they actually thought she was going to be the star of the team. It turns out Sophie Cunningham was. Blazing her own trail again. Do we love Sophie Cunningham, guys? Do we love Sophie Cunningham now, making a stand against the data centers? The WNBA it girl? Now, just like the 5G towers, it looks like these data centers kind of kill all the nature around them. Now, I don't know if this is a fair case. I don't know when these pictures were taken as far as seasonally. Maybe it was a dry season, a wet season, whatever. But this is an image from Memphis, Tennessee, before data center, after data center. And you can see before the data center, green, lush land, trees, everything. After the data center, everything's dead. Everything's gone. Everything's dead. We saw similar things with 5G. Now, I gotta say, guys, we're gonna get a little wild with this one. We're gonna get a little crazy, but bear with me. I've always thought this because I've always been, for whatever reason, I've always been enamored, inspired even by skylines and just big city infrastructure. I've always been enamored by it. It's always intrigued me. Big city infrastructure, big city skylines, looking at New York City from above. And there was something that always stuck out to me, which is it looks like a microchip. When you look at human civilization, major metropolitan areas from the sky, it looks like a microchip. And it always kind of messed with my brain a little bit. Like, are we building the microchips? Are we turning Earth into a microchip for something? Like, is that what we're doing here? Is to just turn the planet into an organic planet, into a microchip, into some processor, into some source for energy or something? And, you start to look at the data centers and everything they're doing. A high-altitude balloon of the Forbidden City in Beijing, China. What does it remind you of? It reminds me of a microchip. Doesn't it? It reminds you of a microchip. And you wonder how many times civilization has done this. You wonder how many times. Graham Hancock is one of the best at recording this, how basically human civilization rises and falls maybe every 3,000 years or so. And maybe there's secret knowledge of this. Maybe they're preparing for this, keeping the rest of us in the dark. I can't help but wonder, are we just turning this planet into a microchip for something? Am I going crazy, guys? It certainly looks like it. It certainly looks like it. All right. This is just craziness right here. I don't even know if I want to get into this, but you know what? Let's just do it. It's interesting. So Frank Turek, he was with Charlie in his final moments. He kind of became part of the bigger story, and he's kind of in the aftermath of all of that, at least to my knowledge, become an online personality. I don't know if he was doing this before or not, but now Frank Turek is doing online content. And this video popped because apparently people are sending him emails about how Candace Owens is destroying their marriage. I want you to listen to this before I give you any opinion, but I want you to listen to this, at least some of this, from Frank Turek, reading a message about how Candace Owens is destroying his marriage.
I'm writing because I'm at a point of desperation, and I'm hoping you might offer some biblical wisdom or practical advice. My wife and I are both Christians, but over the past several months, she has become deeply influenced by Candace Owens's recent content regarding you, Israel, and a number of broader conspiracy-related topics. She has come to believe that you are dishonest and you are a false teacher, and even that you are involved in criminal wrongdoing. She also believes that there are vast hidden forces controlling world events, governments, media, and churches. From everything I've studied over the years, I've reached a very different conclusion. I continue to believe you are sincerely serving Christ through apologetics. Well, I don't think any human being is beyond criticism. I know I'm certainly not. I have not seen credible evidence to support the accusations that are being made against you. What concerns me most isn't simply that we disagree. It's that these beliefs have become central to our conversations and are creating an ever-widening divide in our marriage. Almost every discussion eventually returns to these subjects, and it has become increasingly difficult to have peaceful conversations.
All right, I don't want to suffer through this for another 2 minutes. Give you a second to kind of, you've heard enough of it. You get the gist of it. Just wanted you to kind of think what you thought about that. Now, I want to, before I get controversial with maybe something I think in response, let me first just go with what is being said here. And this is what I have been saying for months now. And this is why I constantly talk about the political class and the bubbles and the silos that they live in. I'm telling you guys, Candace Owens is getting people's attention. When I get recognized out in public, they don't bring up Trump. They bring up Candace Owens. So I hear that and I'm like, yeah, this is very real. This wouldn't surprise me one bit. So it's like, yeah, they're admitting that she is winning hearts and minds, whether you like it or not, whether you like her or not, whether you trust her or not. The result is that she's winning hearts and minds. She's getting the audience, and the Candace Owens haters can do nothing but hate and attack, and that's it. So it wouldn't surprise me one bit that this story is real, because I see this when people want to talk politics with me. And whether they follow Candace or not, they don't trust the official Charlie Kirk assassination narrative anyway, whether they bring up Candace or not. Okay, so that's kind of my first response. But you know what, guys? I've been doing this long enough, and I can't help but think that that is fake. And here's why. When you actually listen to the contents, he's claiming this is an email he gets. And maybe it is. Maybe somebody sends him this. Maybe it's a true story. Maybe it's not. Maybe he knows who sent it to him. Maybe it's all part of an act. But when you hear him read it, notice how they touch on every specific thing when it comes to the narrative wars right now with the Charlie Kirk assassination and the Tyler Robinson hearing and the online commentary about it. It's like if there was a checklist of like, hey, let's address all these things in an email so that it doesn't look like we're directing it head on in defense, but instead we're reading somebody else's concerns. It's all in there like a checklist. And I've been around media enough. I've been around politics enough. This stuff happens all the time. People in media plan bits like this all the time. People in media will send themselves a note, schedule a caller, all of this stuff. I do not do that, just so you know. I do not do that, but that does 100% happen. And I can't help as I'm listening to him read this, even though I'm like, it wouldn't surprise me if that's real. This is the topics that come up when people talk politics with me. But it's like, really? It's like, did somebody really sit down and type out an email perfectly highlighting all the different issues they have in this narrative war so that they can address it and then angle it at Candace Owens, but act like, hey, it's not us on defense? And I don't know. I don't know Frank. I don't want to make any assumptions about Frank. I don't know. I don't know him enough. Never met him. But when I see that, that's what I'm getting. That's what I'm getting. Now, he might not know. Somebody could just send him that email and be like, oh, I can get this onto Frank's show. I'll send him this email. Wouldn't surprise me if the story is true. But it also wouldn't surprise me if that was just straight up propaganda. Wouldn't surprise me either way. Okay. Maybe we can get a couple of things out of the list here that I've been sitting on in the leftovers. Do you guys remember this? We were kind of laughing about this. I live in Austin, Texas, and the UT women's basketball team here. It's pretty popular. UT women's basketball here is pretty popular. I kind of follow it a little bit. And I was really, I was riding the UT women's basketball team, on a hot gambling streak. Okay. I was on a hot gambling streak with them, and I had them to win the title, and they lose to UCLA in the finals. So I'm tuning into the game, and UCLA has this monster girl at center. She's like 7'1". She's unstoppable. And you see her and you're like, is that even a woman? Is that even a woman? Now, before you get mad, before I get in any trouble here, isn't that the point? Isn't that the point, guys? Isn't the point that, hey, there's no difference between men and women? Isn't it the point that, hey, a man can be a woman? So wouldn't me questioning it, wouldn't that legitimize it? I don't know. if I'm watching this woman play and I'm like, hey, is that a man? Why is that bad? You guys are the ones that are doing the whole trans thing. You guys are the ones that are claiming that there's no difference here. So it wouldn't, if I don't know and if I'm questioning it, wouldn't that prove that you're right? It's like, see, you don't know if it's a man or a woman. See? So I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't know if it's a man or a woman. This is the world that you guys created, not me. So am I wrong to think that this could be a man? Am I wrong? Well, so she wins an ESPY last night. That's the sports awards. She wins an ESPY. And here's her speech.
Like I have the opportunity with this platform that I have to speak on something that is really important to me. So for a lot of people who know me, they know about my mental health journey and everything that I speak up about.
Mental health journey? Mental health journey? What does that sound like?
And what I'm really open about. And I just want people to know, for people that know about my journeys, that...
what are these journeys?
Protecting my peace has been the one thing that I've been as fierce about with chasing my dreams. Your mental health is not separate from your success. It is the foundation of everything that you do. And the strongest people aren't the ones who never struggle. They're the ones who have the courage to let someone walk through their struggle with them. I appreciate you guys so much.
All of this screams trans to me. All of this screams trans. And I already was suspicious of it after watching her play. And I don't know. Would you guys put it past the WNBA to find a trans person that's 7 foot that they can put in the WNBA and dominate the league like Brittany Griner used to do, but somebody maybe a little more polished, a little more political to go in there and sell these political messages when other WNBA players don't want to do it or they're not good enough? Why am I the bad guy? You guys are the ones that made this world. You guys are the ones that started doing the trans and said there was no difference. Why am I bad if I don't know? Isn't that the world that you guys want? So wait, how am I bad for questioning this? How am I bad for questioning this when this is what you guys are doing? This is what you guys are promoting. Why am I bad? I'm awfully suspicious, guys. I've got to tell you. I'm awfully suspicious. It's like this. This is a new ad. Kylie Jenner she's partnered with Meta Glasses. She's promoting Meta's glasses with the cameras on them. They're doing TV ads. They're doing these print ads. And somebody is going around London and replacing it with the formaldehyde face from They Live. But that's what this is like. This is like when you put on the glasses. It's like when you put on the glasses. It's like we know you guys are doing the trans stuff. You guys are bragging about the trans stuff. Your claim here is that there is no difference. So how can you be mad at me when I know you're doing this and you're intentionally trying to make men look like women? So it's like, we know I've already put on the glasses. How can you be mad when there's a man-like figure dressed as a woman and we think, oh, is that a man? Why is that wrong? This is the world you guys created. This is the world that you guys promoted. This is the world that you expect us to live in. So how are we bad for asking these questions when we know you're doing this? And if you're so proud of it, and if all things are equal, then what do you have to hide? We're still dealing with it. We're still dealing with it. Now, there's people that are trying to figure out what is going on with this Ellen Page situation. And my question is, if you're on the set and you're filming this, right? And mostly by now, probably everybody listening to this have seen some form of the Elliot Page Achilles character. I mean, it's comical. It's ridiculous, right? I mean, it's absurd. It's a 5'2" woman running around in Spartan warrior armor. And it's ridiculous. And it's like, I'm just wondering, what are people thinking as they're filming this? Like, everybody's in on the joke, right? Except maybe Elliot. It's like everybody's watching this and knows it's ridiculous, right? I mean, come on. Everybody on the set with Elliot Page running around looking like a clown, looking like a goofball, looking like, the 8-year-old son wearing daddy's suit, wearing daddy's sport coat that's 10 sizes too big. It's like everybody on set knows this looks ridiculous, right? So what are they doing? Is the joke on us? Is it really just forcing woke into Hollywood? Because everybody on the set knows it looks ridiculous. They know this is absurd. So there's these theories going around. People are saying it's about the evolutionary psychology of secret government shadow societies, and this is how they signal to one another with absurdity. Like, yeah, you do and say things that are so absurd that only the members of the club will understand. Now, here's another one that I saw going around in response to it. This is from Robbie Starbuck. The purpose of propaganda, at least in its late stage form, is not to inform you or deceive you or even manipulate you. It's to humiliate you. Its purpose is to be so outlandish, so ridiculous, so blatantly untrue, and yet totally undeniable in order to reinforce the power of the state. Hyper-realism. So it's communist propaganda, all of this stuff. Well, I couldn't help but think about that and think that's exactly what MAGA is right now. Like, MAGA is so absurd that it's a humiliation thing if you still believe any of it. But yeah, how can anybody filming it take it seriously? Like, what does it look like when it's all done? When they finish the scene, it's like, okay, it's all done. It's like everybody on the set had to know how ridiculous that looks, right? I kind of wish I would have been there for it. I can't believe I'm going to see it. I'm going to see it. I mean, I'll admit it. I want to go see it. I just can't believe that they would tank it. I can't believe after all the budget and everything they did to film it, it's going to win awards. I mean, I would say I guarantee it wins awards. And you know what's funny is that Troy didn't win any awards. Now, the problem that Troy had was it was right up against The Lord of the Rings. It was right up against there were big popular movies that were just winning all the awards back then, and it was just like impossible to break through. But it's funny because you look back at Troy, it came out in 2004, and if you go look at the movie awards for that year, and you'll be like, wow, these movies sucked. Troy was by far the best movie. Troy by far had the most staying power of any other movies from that year, and it only got nominated for one award. It didn't win any awards. And now everybody looks back at Troy like, damn, that was the epic movie. That was the cinematic masterpiece. But it didn't win any awards. This will win awards, either out of the humiliation ritual, or the lengths that they went through to shoot this thing, as comical as Helen of Troy being black might be, or as comical as Elliot Page running around as Achilles might be, the lengths that they went to film this are quite, it's been a while since anybody has done something like this. So I do anticipate it'll win some awards. I just can't believe they would spike it like that and just destroy what could have been a legendary classic. Whatever. It's Hollywood. Bunch of weird people. So this is where I think a lot of people are at, guys. This is from Jake Buckett, former NFL quarterback, who got involved with some political commentary. A hard truth I've learned is that modern politics is actually very boring once you hit terminal velocity and nothing ever happens. You climb Mount Everest and find the normie maxing sports ball grill boomers waiting for you at the summit. They had it figured out all along. Yeah, I mean, I don't agree with that 100%, but directionally, conclusion-based, it's. And what's funny about that, for me at least, is that's kind of the conclusion I reached immediately about politics. You know, when I started going into media and I was editor at the high school paper and, you know, the school news team, and the political people wanted me to go into politics and write political pieces and join the debate team and do news hits on politics. And I was like, no. I don't like politics. They're all liars. It's all fake. It's like that was the conclusion I reached as a kid. Then you grow up and you start to realize how it affects you, how it affects everybody, and why it's important to get involved. And you just grow up, you know. But it is true. It's like, yeah, once you've reached that point of terminal velocity and you realize it's all fake and gay, what else are you supposed to do? We'll be back, though. We'll be back. It's all about timing. Don't worry, we'll be back. It's all about timing. By the way, guys, did you happen to see this? The MLB All-Star Game did some pretty cool things. This was really cool, though. So when they were doing the readouts of the starting lineups, they had the players come out to home plate and they signed the lineup card with a feather quill, a reenactment, if you will, of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. That was cool. They really did a great job with the patriotic nature of the All-Star Game in Philadelphia. Really did a good job. And that was a unique, cool thing that they did. The signing of the lineup card as if it was the signing of the Declaration of Independence. The players loved it too. Very cool. Did you guys see the story about Messi, Argentina's soccer star, and Yamal, Spain's soccer star? They're about to meet in the World Cup. Apparently, they met when he was a baby. Messi and Yamal have met before at a photo shoot when Spain's star was just a baby. What are the odds of this? Lionel Messi at 19 years old taking a picture bathing a baby who ends up turning into the soccer star that he's going to face in the World Cup. Is the whole world a stage or what? That's pretty crazy, isn't it? By the way, guys, you know, we were on air during the game yesterday. That's one of the greatest World Cup games in a long time. Yesterday's game was an instant classic, guys. Truly an instant classic in more ways than one. And you know, the final is Sunday. There's a third place game too. The final is Sunday in New York. Guys, the United States of America in 2006 hosted, arguably, maybe unarguably, actually, maybe convincingly, the greatest World Cup of all time. And say what you want about it. You can have your complaints. You can have your conspiracy theories. I think it was the greatest World Cup of all time. Greatest World Cup of all time. 2006. 2026. And I think the final will be a great conclusion. I can't help, even though they blew it by putting it in New York. I think the final will live up to the tournament and how great it's been. So that's, you know, I used to do the movie recommendations for weekends, but I told you until the World Cup is over, I'm just going to recommend watching the World Cup. So that's it. That's it. Last chance this Sunday to watch the World Cup. All right, one last thing here before we go to the Super Chats. This is just hilarious. Somebody did an AI rendition of Rabbi Shmuley out in the streets. Try not to laugh at this.
Anti-Semite! He's an anti-Semite! He threatened me! He wants to throw me in a gas chamber! Did you see that? Call 911! Help! Anti-Semite! He wants to turn me into a lampshade! I'm gonna sue you! Anti-Semite!
All right, we're having fun. We're all having fun. All right. We're all just laughing. Everybody calm down. All right. Let's go to our super chats. As always, we thank our super chatters. Thanks, everybody, for taking part in today's transmission. Dust Vault leads us off. The Chi-Com stole 2020. Is that what they're going to tell us tonight? Yeah, don't talk about the mail-in ballots, the ballot harvesting, the counting the ballots 3-4 times in Atlanta, everywhere else. Let's see. Let's see what happens tonight. I think the whole thing is a smokescreen for the NDAA, but we'll see. Crime of the century with 0 arrests. That's right. And who's calling it the crime of the century? Oh, that's right. The people in power that aren't arresting them. Amazing, isn't it? Expose. Hebrew 12:9. Should we not be subject unto the Father of spirit and live? Romans 2:28-29. A jewel is in the spirit and not in the flesh. I come for the blind, my good friends. DZ. U.S. isn't in Bible prophecy. It's taken by Israel. They should remake Swamp Thing starring DJT as the monster. Well, thanks to AI, yeah, you can do that now. Anybody can do that. So there you go. Captain, MAGA is now turning on J.D. Vance about his comments on Israel. I don't care about Vance. I'm over the left-right. I've gone fully indie, but the treason is crazy. I don't know how you can interpret that any other way with that most recent vote. I really don't. And, you know, it's like we've been through this so many times. But the Q people are at it again. It's so Trump's speech tonight is some Q thing. Trump's speech tonight is, you know, Q exposing election fraud, whatever. We've been done this so many times, it never ends up being that. But it's like that would be the perfect time, dude. We just had the vote of, are you loyal to the United States of America or not? And we just had the one vote, and you can look at it and say, okay, here's all the people that are disloyal. Here's all the traitors. We literally have their names in a list in Congress. It's like, this is the opportunity. This is it. I'm not anticipating that, but that is, well, MAGA is Trump is using Vance to try to stave off the foreign policy hawks or the anti-Middle East foreign policy hawks. He's trying to kind of tamper that with this Vance thing, but he is throwing him to the wolves. And MAGA is now under the trance of the foreign lobbyists, and that's why they're attacking J.D. Vance. But actually, it probably would be more accurate to say MAGA is under the payroll of the foreign influence. So some are just under the trance, but most of it is under the payroll. Graham's sister must have stayed at a Holiday Inn. How many people will get that reference? Those commercials were what, 90s? Did someone crash through the garage door? What? No, we're standing tall. The light just changed. That's what it is. Loomer drove through the garage door. Turtle diesel. No, we have there's a restraining order. Hey, Owen, it's Bibi Netanyahu. Hi, Bibi. Please call me. I have an opportunity for you to make $7,000 per post. Wow. Wow. I got to say, I've had the offers before, but not directly from Bibi. This is kind of an honor. And guys, look, I'm going to tell you right now, all jokes aside here, this is hard, guys. It's not easy to be successful in media. It's not easy to be successful. It's not easy to pay the bills. It's not. And having staying power is even harder. So a lot of people just take the money, guys. A lot of people just take the money. So that's why you see a lot of what you see, guys. A lot of people just sell out. They just take the money. Trump is delusional. Anna, why would anyone listen to Trump tonight? Why? Well, he is the president and he is speaking. But as far as trusting it or taking it at face value, I don't know. I don't know. Zulu, big fan, Owen, probably answered 100 times. I stepped away from all the news. Are still involved at all with Alex Jones? If not, are you two friends or amicable? Wow, you did step away. You stepped away for almost a year. Anybody want to try to catch him up, Zulu? That's too much. I mean, I'll just say, no, I am not involved with Alex anymore. And I guess no to the other question too, I guess. I don't know. So China interfered in 2020 and Russia in 2016. Well, I guess this is what they're going to tell you now. Kira Castronova, ay caramba. Holy cow, man. Got to be honest, nobody is getting arrested. Hasn't happened yet. I wouldn't bet on it. BB Benko. Russia struck Kiev that night hard and warned the U.S. deep state back in May. Graham likely died in the chaos. Pretty much nothing was intercepted. Well, I mean, the only contention that you could have with that conclusion is we have those images of Graham in the gurney when the medical teams showed up. So unless you want to claim those are AI, which I mean, how can you, who knows these days? How can you trust anything? You almost have to think everything is AI these days just to be safe. But, I think you would know if he had, suffered burn damage or anything from a strike. So if it was foul play, which I actually think the odds are it was foul play, I think something did happen. He was probably poisoned, is my guess. And then the question becomes the mystery caller, who called it in and what they know. I wonder, you're not hearing about the investigation. They kind of just want to wrap that up with a bow and just say nothing to see here. Wonder if we'll have a similar situation in the near future. Joshua, I'm sure you're well aware you have Seraphin's Bacon Cheeseburger Nationalist in here. Drunk E-Cheese, Slow Burn Sam White himself. A collab with Kyle. Me and Kyle were talking earlier today. Maybe it is time to do a collab with Kyle. The thing about it is, it's like Kyle and I are so simpatico in the things that we cover and talk about. It's kind of just like talking to yourself. So I just, I try to get people on that might have different things, different opinions, maybe even live in a different area. We could certainly get Kyle on. Anybody with pro-America policies and give a little to the left and right, that would get support from the entire country because the corruption and treason is so bad, we just want it to end. It's that easy. Well, yes, and the Democrats are about to tap into that. I'm not telling you they mean it, but I'm telling you they're going to tap into it to win an election. And that's what we just got from the Republicans in 2024. They tapped into that same righteous indignation, that same resentment. They won an election, and then they abandoned us. So I think the Democrats are about to run the same playbook. Who is amazed? The war on drugs was a narco operation to facilitate the CIA inside Mexico for the cocaine trade. That's right. The biggest drug dealers were the U.S. government, and now it's Big Pharma that owns the U.S. government and the media. More BCN entered the chat. Bacon Nationalist Cheeseburgers in the chat. Shout out to the Bacon Nationalist Cheeseburgers. Now I'm hungry. Why is Canada allowed to pollute our air? Dr. Phil Schroyer. That climate change, man. That man-made climate change coming from our hat. Canada, America's hat. Our geological hat. I mean, it's bad. Yikes. I hope it's gone by Sunday. Benefits for illegal immigrants, but nothing for veterans. Oh, that's right. I didn't even mention that angle of the veteran benefits bill that they can't pass. That's right. And we could mention the foreign benefits as well. So veterans get illegal aliens get benefits. Israel gets benefits. U.S. veterans, sorry, can't help you. Not going to happen. I really hope that the air cleans up by Sunday. There is a cool view at the top of MetLife Stadium. The stadium, in my view, is just so dull. But there is a cool view from the top where you can see the entire New York skyline. That's pretty cool. If you have that air pollution, you're not going to be able to see it. And I wonder how that impacts the game, too. The players breathing it in. Probably trying to give the IDF VA benefits again. Oh, yes, Gideon. Well, we need to prioritize that. Yeah, I think we do need to prioritize that, obviously. Veteran for life. Here we go. First, I heard about the veterans benefit bill was on an APLX account saying she took some heat for voting against it. Typical Republicans send us to war, but defund our care. APL did not support that bill, huh? It's not getting much attention. And what usually what kind of happens with that is the Republicans really love to care about the veterans and make a bunch of noise for veterans when Democrats are in power. But then when Republicans are in power, they're a lot quieter about it. They don't seem to care as much. So everything in DC is fake and gay. Mila Bulich. I received my veterans newsletter this morning. It bragged that the VA and HHS are going to begin testing with psychedelics on seriously mentally ill vets. Can these people give informed consent? No. Well, I am actually a supporter of psychedelics for mental health. I think that there is plenty of research that shows there are positive benefits. I did see, though, Pete Hegseth says if you're over 30 in the military, you can get TRT, testosterone replacement therapy. Nice new promotional technique to join the military. Electrician here, not allowed to work outside today. Wow. So yeah, so that's how bad the air quality is. They're calling you in. The air quality isn't as bad in Iowa, but the humidity is nothing short of swamp ass. Oh, the swamp ass. The Midwest swamp ass. SD hit triple digits this past week. I can't believe Canada has any more forests to burn. They've been burning for 4 years straight. You guys are killing me. I'm getting nothing in Austin. It's raining again today. 4 straight days of no sun and rain in Austin. This is supposed to be when I'm goldening. This is supposed to be when I'm turning from a pale horse into a golden delicious. And I'm being rejected. I had all the momentum going my way. And then they stole the sun from me, and I don't know when I'm going to get it back. I'm going into seasonal distress. And you're bragging about it's too hot? I'm jealous. These kids sound like security personnel. You don't start making real money until you hit SGT. He never said his rank. Most soldiers are proud of that. Oh, you're talking about the video from earlier. I wonder if it's real, but it wouldn't surprise me. As far as the money in the house, who knows? Who knows about that? You'll say pretty wild. You'll say wild things to impress a woman. Armina Bullion. Thank you. NATO natters. Why would any kid grow up knowing nothing else, care about the law when the president literally gets away with murder? Maybe a bit of a stretch there. I get what you're saying. I don't know if these kids know anything about the president and anything about what you're talking about, though. So I don't know if that's connected. I think it's more through media and pop culture. Safe and go effective. Very much. I like that. Safe and go effective. This show is safe and go effective. Bill Gates, Moderna mode RNA as technology for the human body. She said it. She said it in testimony. Wifey, hi, I missed you yesterday. Yeah. Where were you? Nice to have you back. Violent crime. Saudi cuts heads off. Not much crime. I'm going to let that one lay. Fun fact, Tony Robbins taught me that viruses aren't real. It's lack of nerve energy from a poor diet. Also taught me neuroassociative conditioning. I like Tony Robbins. Not a bad guy to content binge on. Sophie Cunningham. I am not suicidal. I love life. So Sophie needs to say that. Don't take Sophie from us. Don't take our blonde queen now. Is she cooler than Sydney Sweeney? They're kind of together now. Loomer emailed Frank Turek. Yeah, he's reading a Loomer email. But Loomer would be the wife in that situation, right? Isn't she married now? Please take her off the market. Good Lord. Ebu backs. Oh, and the new Zelda remake comes out in the fall. Perhaps to your credit again. You think they will ruin or revive the brand? My problem with the Zelda game, I grew up playing Zelda. My problem with the Zelda games now is they're just too complicated. And that's kind of all games now for us old heads. It's like we had 4 buttons. There was maybe another 8 different button combinations. And the rest was just figuring out different puzzles and patterns. It's like these new ones, there's so many different combos and buttons and tactics. It's just I can't keep up. So if they do what Pokemon did and just release the game with better graphics, it'll be a smashing success. But if they try to complex it up, no, I don't know. We'll see though. I'll be following that. You want to see slam dunks? Allow trans in the WNBA. Joanna Man. That's all I'm going to say. Joanna Man. Trump is him. Send Trump into the WNBA, actually. That would work. Liberal women fight a trans woman in the Olympics. That one did come out as true. They tried to deny that. Love today's slop. Awesome show. Thank you, Ivan. Thank you. They always deny it at first, and then it always ends up coming true. You coming back live for the Trump slop tonight? You know what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to stream it. I don't think I'm going to bother with commentary until tomorrow. I don't know. I haven't decided, honestly. I think we will stream it just to have the stream up if you want to see it, but I'm 50-50 on if I even want to do commentary. We'll see. Because it's just like, it's like I don't want to be captured by this. It's like if I sit here and let it control me. But it's my job. I'm in the media, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I think we'll live stream it at the very least, though. Saving Israel, merging with the military for last. Yeah, exactly. Well, that would be it, though. That's what I'm saying. Like, this would be the one. From Iowa, you should do RAGBRAI 100%. Okay, there's a big bike race. It got brought up. It happens in Iowa. I don't even currently own a bike. Ever since I moved to Austin, I haven't had a bike. They're banning 7-OH kratom because it works better than any of their pain medications. Fun Police, dropped a penny. Well, that's what Big Pharma does. That's what Big Pharma does. Big Pharma lobbies Congress, the White House. Big Pharma buys up mainstream media network TV ads, and then they get to control the market. Trump speech tonight. I think we'll live stream it. Ken Rose, thank you. Sam White, Cheeseburger Nationalist Club. Zulu closing us out. Sorry to hear that, man. I'd like to help support your show. How do I reach out to you about sponsoring you via my company, Target Focus Group? Hey, right on, brother. Support@media.win. Support@media.win. Well, that's the best place because it's just easier to categorize stuff there, and I get a lot of incoming, obviously. So an email to support@media.win. Or if you want to try X, every once in a while I can pick up and keep up with different requests and stuff coming on through X. So maybe we can reach out there. If you're under Zulu Whiskey, I'll see you. But the email is probably the best way to go. And producer DMT does a pretty good job at keeping up with that stuff. And he's in the digital studio right now, so he's listening. So I would say that's the best way to do it. And I'm also, DMT is saying, no, you can stream the president's speech. Absolutely, 100%. It's the president's speech. 100% you can stream that. There's no way. DMT is concerned about the channel getting taken away. And that's fair. That's good. Somebody needs to be, because I'm certainly not going to censor myself. I'm not going to censor or change the show's content because I'm scared of censorship. But no, absolutely, you can air a president's speech, and that's not an issue. But we'll see. Zulu, appreciate that. Shout out to DMT. Took care of the merch situation. See, there it is. DMT takes action. Support@media.win. That's what it is, guys. All right. All right. That's going to do it for today's transmission. Trump's speech in about T-minus 2 hours. I think we all kind of anticipate what it's going to be. Not too much, nothing new. But we'll be following it. At the very least, we'll either live stream it, but I'll be doing commentary on it tomorrow. We'll see. Owen Report signing off for today. We'll take a 21-hour break, and we'll do it all again tomorrow. God bless and Godspeed.